Hey, there you
What's
are.
up?
Hey, man.
Audio working all right?
Yeah, let's. I think everybody can hear you now. We just been hanging out, watching all your videos and stuff.
Oh, Jesus.
You okay?
Which videos?
Well, let me see. We started off. I'm gonna move the camera over here. We started off with your some Mustang stuff, right? And
Right.
then we watched a video of us in Japan. Oh, hello.
Sorry, I'm
No, you're
clicking
fine.
random shit.
It's okay.
Um, yeah, yeah.
So we watched the video of whenever me and you were in Japan. We hung out, we met up, um, and then we watched some of let's see, my Japan videos, and we went back to Club Loose, and Club Loose just happened to have 421 subscribers, so I unsubscribed to make it 420.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And then I subscribed back, and then more people subscribed. So we did that, and then we watched some your tech video from Club Loose 2018,
Yeah.
and then we did what else was there? Then we watched the one Club Loose video, Spring Moves 2019, I think.
Hey, before we get this going,
Okay.
how do I get chat up on my screen?
Okay, so the easiest way to do that would be to open up Twitch, and if you have two monitors,
Yeah, yeah.
and then just mute or like pause the stream,
Yeah.
and then chat will still keep going, and then you don't have to worry about having any background noises or interference and stuff. So
Cool.
easy as that.
Yeah.
Hey, dude, how are you?
I am great. Just went after work, went on a walk with Oliver at the park for like
Yep.
3 miles or so, let him play around, and then let him run around the front yard and wear himself out. And
Put him to bed.
well, yeah, he's on the. It's in
Oh.
the process.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah,
He'll he'll be fine.
yeah. He'll get there. He'll get to the sleepy time.
Yeah,
So, dude, yeah. What's up, man? We've been waiting on you.
yeah.
I
I'm
hopefully I gave people a. Oh, we watched some of your old S13 stuff.
uh-huh.
Mineral Wells, and I didn't know that you had the S13 whenever y'all were starting to do Club Loose stuff.
I didn't.
Okay.
So when we had started Club Blue stuff, I already had the Mustang, but I had the yeah. I think that I still had the S13 when I was going to like a couple events at
San Antonio.
that they were throwing at this at San Antonio Raceway.
Yeah.
The previous dude was throwing, and I had gone to a couple events there.
Okay.
Uh, but yeah, by the time we had started Club Loose, I already had the Mustang.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. But we stumbled across a video and you had the S13, and I was like, oh wait, like I thought you'd had the Mustang before all that. But yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, that was kind of a weird situation the way that drift events were being run before, and it was like the few ones that I went to was like the catalyst for us wanting to
Right.
do what we did.
Right. I mean, it's the same thing that we did. You know, we went to a couple events, and then it was like, oh well, you know, we kind of want it this way. So,
Yeah.
you know, same ideology. Um. So yeah, dude, what do you? I know you wanted to talk about some stuff. So
I mean,
I mean, I know you wanted to talk about like the old stuff, which is very cool. I think it's something that people need to like. They don't need to, but it's good for them to like listen to and stuff like that. So that'd be cool. And I got a lot of questions about the Mustang, so I know we could probably dive into that too. Um, but yeah,
yeah. I mean, I definitely want to tell some old school stories, and where the just I've been around for a long time. And
Okay, all right. So let's start there.
Okay.
Let's start with drift history. Okay, so how did Tyler Green get into drifting?
Okay. That's always like the first question. I feel like
Yeah,
every
it always
podcast
is.
today, it's
It's
always
the
like,
same
how'd you fall?
podcast. You know.
Okay. Um, so senior year of high school, which for me was 2004,
Okay.
2005. Um, I was working. Hello, Dexter. I was working at a car wash with a bunch of my
Yep.
friends, and the summer before that, all I cared about was skateboarding. Like
Right.
skateboarding was my
Right.
entire life, and I had like a 1988 Honda Accord, and the only thing I thought was cool about it was that it had flip-up headlights.
Right.
Because I didn't really know anything about cars
Right.
at the time. And two of my friends that worked there over the summer, I was like, "Hey, y'all want to go skate today? Like, let's go downtown Houston.
Right.
Let's go skate." And they're like, "Oh no, we're going to this thing. It's called Formula D."
Ah, yes.
So this was summer of 2004.
Yeah.
The first year, and I was like, "What's that?" And they're like, "Oh, it's like racing, but like they're like not racing." And I was like, "That sounds fucking whack. I don't want to do that. I'm going skateboarding." And so, like, fast forward a few months, and one of those dudes that went, my friend Chris, I lost touch with him. I'm not
Yeah.
really sure what's going on, but I was hanging out at his house, and he was like, "Oh, you gotta check out this anime." Of course,
Yeah.
we all know where this is going.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
Yeah. So it shows me Initial D, and I see the
Right.
8.6, and I'm like, like the styling of it. And so that was my first introduction to it. And then from there, just like kind of snowballed. There was my friend JR, who was also part of that same friend group. He got super into it. He bought an S14 at the time. And I remember he showed up with it, and he was so proud of it. And I walked out and saw it, and I was like, I don't know, man. Like, I guess it's cool. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't really know what I was looking at. But then he started bringing all these DVDs over.
Yeah.
And we were watching all these DVDs like Drift Society
Yep.
and JDM Insider.
Okay.
And when I started seeing those cars, I was like, okay, I get this, because these are cars
Right.
that I recognize, that I
Yep.
understand, and this is a car that I could own.
Right.
So then they also helped me find my first S13, and bought my first S13 in March of 2005.
Dang. Sick.
For $3,000. It
Wow.
was like 120,000 miles, bone stock,
Mint.
super good, dude, super good condition. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. And yeah, that was the S13 I had for a hatch. It was like a gray hatch that I had
Yeah.
for them. And yeah, that was how I first got into it.
Okay. And then was the hatch? Then you went to the Miata.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
after the hatch, I went to the Miata because I was driving home from work one night, and I had just done like spark plugs and spark plug wires.
Okay.
And like, I learned how to work on cars with the S13.
Right.
And I didn't really know what I was doing. And somebody had told me, "Oh, don't tighten the spark plugs too much or they'll break." So I made sure when I was putting the spark plugs in that I didn't tighten them too much. And
Right.
one night when I was driving home, I guess it had loosened itself up.
Yep.
And from the compression, it shot out and hit the hood and made this huge loud bang. I shut
Yeah.
the car down and pulled over because I thought I blew the motor for whatever reason.
Right.
And later get it home like the next day or something, and my dad compression tests it, and he's like, it's fine. You just blew the spark plug out because you didn't know what you were doing.
Right.
But I had already taken out a loan to buy an SR because I thought the KA was blown.
Yeah.
And my dad knew that like the SR was the move, like where you,
Right.
that was like the ideal motor. So he co-signed. It was my first loan. He co-signed with me. I got a loan for $2,000 because that's what you could get a running SR for back then. Like,
Sick.
you could get an SR plus intercooler clutch, like everything else.
Yeah, the whole drop-in thing.
$2,000.
Yeah.
So once I realized the motor wasn't blown, I was like, oh, well, I'm going to get another bucket list item. I'm going to get a bride seat. So I used part of the loan, bought a bride Zeta 3, and some Nagisa Auto super low rails and
Sick.
put that in, and I loved it.
Yeah.
And then I left for college, and within the first like 2 or 3 months of college, I was working at nights, and I got home late, and the parking lot closest to my apartment was full up, so I parked on the street. Woke up the next morning, and somebody had busted out the window and stolen the seat. And I was like absolutely heartbroken because
Yeah.
this is 2006. Like
Yeah.
bride seats are pretty rare.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's what I was about to say. It would be super, like, who knew, like, you know, like, oh, I'm gonna take that.
Well, I found out who knew.
Oh,
So I was like heartbroken.
yeah.
Seat was gone because to me, I didn't have a whole lot of money to modify
Right.
coilovers, a seat, a few odds and ends, but it was very, very basic car. But the seat made it because, like, I mean, you know that feeling when you first get a seat and you sit down and
Yeah. It holds you.
and it puts you in a totally different
Yep.
mindset.
Yep.
And you know, as a 19-year-old kid, like getting in that, it totally, like, it just made the car for me.
Right.
When the
No,
seat was
it turns it into something that, like, even if it's not, it is now.
it was a pretend, you know, to me it was my pretend race car, and I
Yep.
loved it.
Yep.
But it totally changed here's your the word you love, the aura. It changed the aura of the car when that seat was gone, right? And so I started looking around, and I was like, man, it doesn't feel the same. I want to get rid of it. And I was getting so tired of seeing nothing but S13s. I felt like everything had been done, kind of the way 350Zs are now.
Right.
I felt like everything had been done. I'd seen it all, and I didn't have the money to make it super unique the way that
Yeah.
I wanted to.
Yeah.
So I was looking to somewhere else to be to do something different, be unique.
Yeah.
And then Tyler Russell, I don't know if you know.
Yeah.
So TR was one of the first friends I made when I moved to San Antonio.
Mhm.
And he was like, oh, my mom has this Miata in storage. Do you want to check it out? And at the time, I thought Miatas were just like autocross cars.
Yeah.
Again, this was like 2007, 2006. Nobody was drifting them at the time. But I went and test drove it, and it was like 103,000 miles or something. Like
Oh, wow.
super low mileage, great condition. It had been in storage, and it took one drive around the block, and I was like,
Sold.
this drive's so different from an S13. This is what I want.
Yep.
So I bought it from her, sold the S13, and yeah, that's where the Miata started.
Yeah. Okay.
But sorry, back to the
No, you're fine.
bride seat story.
Yes.
So that was like the freshman year of college here
Okay.
in San Antonio. Me and my roommate are moving back to Houston for the summer,
Yep.
just to save some money. And so we've got everything loaded up. My dad's coming up with the truck and trailer to load up the rest of our furniture and stuff. And we're hanging out with some friends, like not car friends, like punk rock dude friends that we
Yep.
met. And we were leaving the following day. And that night I get a phone call from somebody who was at a car meet, and he was like, hey man, I think I found your bride seat. Mind you, it got stolen in October. This is now May.
Right.
And this was before smartphones.
Right.
And I'm like, how do you know it's mine? And he's like, oh, well, he has like a picture of it, like a Polaroid picture that this dude took of it. And he was like, well, he came up to me and he knows it's for an S13 or S14. So he was like, do you want to buy it? And he was like, but nobody else had one.
Right.
Like a Bride Sparkleback Zeta 3. So he's like, if you want, I'll give you the dude's number. So I'm like, yeah, please get the dude's number. I call him. I ask him for some details on it. I didn't save the serial number, but I did, again, it was a rare enough seat.
Right.
So I set up the next day. I'm like, all right, dude, well, I'll come check it out the next day. We were supposed to leave like that day, but we pushed it back one day just because of this. We meet up with like 8 friends and tell them all the situation. Yeah, dude, it's about to be like some street justice type shit. So
Sick.
we meet up with like 8 friends and tell them all the situation. We roll out to this dude's house, and it's kid younger than us, and we're already young at the time. We're like
Yeah.
20, 19, 20.
Right.
He's younger than us. He's got an Integra Type R, lives with his parents, nice ass house. And so I asked him, I'm like, yo, let me check out the seat. He brings it out, and I pick up the bottom cushion, and there's still broken glass under the seat cushion. So I instantly I know it's my seat. Like I start
right. It's absolutely
I've been wanting this seat back so bad. So I tell him some bullshit. I'm like, look, man, I'm gonna go call my dad because I want wheels, but I also want the seat. So I want to see if he can front me the money for the seat.
Yep.
So I go back and I tell my friends that are waiting at the truck, I'm like, it's my seat. Like I know it's my seat. So then like another dude rolls up with me, and I confront him, and he's just like, oh no, man, I bought it from so and so. Like, you know, I don't know nothing about it. And I was like, well, I don't know, man. Maybe you can call him back, get your money. I don't know what to tell you, but like, this is my seat. And he was like, well, if it's your seat, you know, I guess take it. And the dude that walked up with me was like, yo, he said we can take it, and just grabs it and throws it over his shoulder, and we walk out.
Awesome.
And yeah, I crammed it in the passenger seat of the Miata with like everything else, and drove home the next day.
Dude, sick. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm so glad you got it back. That's cool. I was gonna, you know, I was gonna say that like I was waiting for the connection there, like how you knew it, but the glass in the seat, dude, sold it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you didn't like confront him, like say that you're like, dude, why'd you steal it or anything, or you whatever.
No, I mean, I just asked him. I was like, when I told him it was my seat, he started pedaling, and he was like, "Oh no, I got it from so and so," and yeah, he like.
And you told him it was stolen, like it was stolen out of my car, and did you were like, well, the glass, like it, you know.
Right. Yeah. Once I explained that to him, he was like, I don't know if he was caught. I don't know if, you know, if he legit did it from somebody else. Like, maybe I'm too nice. I don't know. But,
yeah. Well, you got it back, so.
Yeah, I got it back, so. Yeah.
Sick.
And then that seat floated around for a while. It was in the Miata for a while, and then when I sold that car, I kept it and sold it to somebody else, Dylan Hayes. If you know who that dude is, ended up with him for a while. Yeah, I don't know where it is now. It's probably still floating around Texas somewhere.
That's cool.
So if you have a black Bride Zeta 3 Sparkleback with the FIA expiration expires September 2010. That might be my
there you go.
Yeah.
That's like the side note. It's like someone made the post. I saw a meme. It was like that picture of Tupac in S13.
Yeah.
It's like someone's driving around in a car in a S13 that Tupac rode in, and you don't even know.
Probably, yeah.
So, you know, someone might have your old seat and they don't even know. So, how long did you have the Miata?
4 years, I think.
Okay. And so you had the Miata. Did you ever take the S13 back to Houston, or did you only have it in Houston for a little bit and then go to college and then sell it for the Miata?
Yeah, so the gray one I just had in Houston, went to college with it.
Okay.
And I took it back and forth a bunch of times. But yeah, after that first year of college, it was sold.
Yeah.
By the time I came back after that first year, I was in the Miata.
Okay. Did you ever, I mean, obviously you went drifting in the S13, the first one. Let's see, was Lone Star around back then? I guess they probably starting up.
It was so with the S13, no. With the Miata, yes. The Miata was before it was Lone Star. There was Fabricated Motorsports.
Right. Yeah.
And that's where I first learned how to drive that car, and that was going to Mustang stuff. Maybe I'm a glutton for punishment, but I like the challenge of like figuring out something new. And the Miata was that back then, and it was really rewarding when everything clicked.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the same thing with the Mustang now. Like when things click, it's so good.
Right. Yeah. It's like that sensation. It's like, wow. All right. This works and works well. So, I remember the only thing that I remember about your Miata is I think you took it to a drift event in Austin once. I remember there was this video from back in the day, and it was like drifting in Austin, and I was like, dude, why don't we ever drive in Austin? And then it was just, you know, but I just remember it was like the coolest thing.
All right, that event was super cool. So that whole weekend, that was like well after I had cut knuckles and
Yeah.
got the whole drivetrain sorted out, and I figured out all the issues with it. But that weekend, what brought everybody to Austin was because the Keep Drifting Fun dudes were there.
Yes.
Josh and Will were coming that week. And so the whole plan was for our group of friends to stay at Russell's parents' house, which is in Dripping Springs.
Yep.
And then drive to the venue, because it was a car show. It wasn't. It was like a car show with a drift event.
Right.
And there was a competition that weekend.
Oh wow. Okay.
But the way that course was set up, it was super cool. Like you came in and it went like to a downhill left, and then switched back, and then went back around and kind of went uphill around this like a fire hydrant thing that some dude in I want to say he's still in like the scene. I don't remember who it was, but he had a Vert S13 that he smashed into the
the fire hydrant.
Emilio, the Fabulous days. So this was when we had like our first team. We that was a super cool track. And then that weekend, hanging out with Josh and Will was super rad. Because I had talked to them a little bit. This was shortly after I had gotten zip tied, so I had talked to them a little bit on zip tied. And then we get to Russell's parents' house, sleep there the first night, and I don't know what happened, but I fell asleep in one room and I woke up in Russell's sister's closet. Now, before this gets weird, Russell's sister was not home.
All right.
She was not home. But I woke up in her closet in like the middle of the night, and I was like, where am I? I don't know what's going on. And I walk out and I'm like, his parents have, this house was huge.
Right.
Like huge house. I walk out and it's like this massive bathroom, and I still don't know where I'm at. I think this was my first time ever going to his parents' house. Go into a bedroom and I'm like, I still don't know where I am. And then I walk into this other room and there's like Josh Buckley, T. Cox, like everybody. And I'm like, okay, cool. I know where I'm at. I know where I'm at. And then went to sleep somewhere else. So then we go drive all day the next day.
Yep.
And I don't much care for competition.
Right.
But it was like when in Rome sort of thing. Like I was there, the car was running well. So I was like, whatever, I'll compete. And I end up making it all the way to like the top 4.
Sick.
I beat Nate Hamilton somehow. I beat it was at Travis County Expo Center. Like I ended up going up against Stewart.
Yeah.
And I wasn't with Stuart Leask, and this was when he had the team with the LS motor.
Yep.
The VN. I ended up going up against him, and I didn't know him at the time. I wasn't friends with Stuart. All I knew was that he had a really bad temper.
Yeah, old Stu.
Like he would fly off the handle. So we drive, and on his chase run, he breaks an axle or something, and like his car stops drifting, and I complete the run, so I win. And my first thought is, oh shit, this dude that I think is super cool and I look up to, he's gonna hate me because I thought that he had a temper or whatever. But then I get paired up with Chelsea Denofa, who had an M3 a green M3.
Yep. The NST.
And I get absolutely destroyed because it's like a turbo Miata making like 150 horsepower. Get absolutely destroyed by him. But it's whatever. I got third. And so we have like this little award ceremony. And I ended up getting paid out enough to cover my tires.
That's sick.
Yeah, it was for school. Um, get my trophy, and then the first thing I do is I go find Stuart,
Oh,
and I
okay.
apologize to him because I felt so bad
Yeah.
that he lost because it's like a fully race prep
Yeah, yeah,
car.
yeah, dude. Yeah,
This
absolutely.
dude,
It was like full caged and all that
yeah,
cool stuff. Yeah, I remember that car.
yeah, against this kid in a Miata, and yeah. So anyway, we became. That was when we became friends, and then we
Cool.
all went to Russell's house later that night,
Yeah.
and it became this huge party. Stuart was shirtless in the kitchen, and we were throwing fruit at him, and he had a huge knife, and he was like he was playing
Yeah.
Fruit Ninja,
Yeah.
cutting fruit. Somewhere, Josh and Will have footage of this, like
Yeah.
all this party,
I
but
bet.
I don't know where it is. It's probably lost.
Yeah, that's sick.
Lost.
Yeah, that's right. It was the Keep Drifting fun video.
Yeah.
That's sick. Um, yeah, cause like I knew you were from Houston, but I never associate you with Houston. You know, so whenever because they did I guess they did Austin and then they did in Houston. And like I guess from that it was just like, oh yeah, Tyler's on the other on the west.
Yeah, that because yeah, at that point, like when I saw the video,
Right.
dude, it took so long for it to come out. When it
Yeah.
finally came out and saw the full length and it got to the Houston section,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, sick! Like I know all these dudes,
Yeah.
and I supported everything that the Silhouette dudes were doing.
Yep.
And it was super rad to see them in there too, and that whole section, I think, honestly, like it stands out. It stands up pretty well.
Yeah.
That Houston section, like with
Yeah.
them street drifting in like that half or the not even built neighborhood.
Yeah, like it's so like like weird because it's like it's street drifting, but it's not like streets, and it's like a flat toge because like all the dirt was on the road and like the trees and all that other stuff, dude. It was like I was like, what?
Yeah, but you've talked about this before. Like when you see photos of drifting, the background makes and video too. The background makes so much of it,
Yep.
and like that background of those shots,
Yep.
It was so cool.
Right.
Just like the dense trees and everything, like it did have like that toge vibe to
Yep.
it, which was that was a super cool part.
I remember the Austin part. It was just like sunset, like the golden hour. Like it was so good.
Okay, that's weird too because when recently we flew Jim Elator down to shoot a video for us, and he was talking after that weekend about he was like, dude, all this footage is gonna look so good because like he was like the color gradient that you get here is not the same that you get in the Midwest.
Right.
And he's like, it doesn't matter what time of day you shoot here, like it all looks so good. And it was something I'd never thought about before.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things that like gives those like Japanese drift videos that vibe.
Yep.
It is just it's
really geographical. Like, it's it's stuff that like people don't ever think about, like it just supports the fact that you could have the exact same car in here in Texas or here in Japan, and like Japan will just look cooler because it's the geographics of it. It's weird.
Yep.
I don't know. It's weird.
Kev says, show me some spots, Tyler. I don't know any spots in Houston, not anymore. Though one of the last times I went street drifting in Houston, we got a gun pulled on us.
Shit.
At Greens Point, or in Greens Point.
Yep. We're at Greens Point.
Okay, so I'll recollect the story as best I can.
Okay, all right.
So again, going back 2006-ish.
Yep.
This was like the beginning of Houston240sx.com, like the forum.
Yeah.
There was a pretty small group of people that on the website at the time.
Yeah.
So when we would meet up to go have to meet, we would always meet over by the Galleria. The meets that
Really?
happened over by the Galleria. I can't remember exactly where it was, but we would go to meets at the Galleria, and then from there we would leave from the Galleria, and we would go street drifting.
Okay.
And we would usually just go to like abandoned lots. Like it wasn't actually street drifting; it was
Right.
just industrial lots.
Right.
But this one night, we were mobbing probably 30 cars deep going
Sick.
street drifting.
Yeah.
And then, a lot of people had passengers. So there's probably people with us.
Right.
And so we go to this spot in Greenspoint that I don't know who suggested it, but we go there, and the entrance, you go in, and it's just an industrial, like a loading dock area. But
Okay.
there's two walls on either side with the entrance coming in this way, and it's the only way in and out. So we had cars parked, lining up the sides, and then cars on the inside. And then, if cops showed up, somebody would say, because we're all there.
Yeah.
So we could all get out because there wasn't really an exit strategy. So, it's the early days. Nobody's really doing
Right.
actual drifting. It's mostly just donuts and figure eights. And,
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who else. Like, this was, if anybody is familiar with like Amin and Amir Rizvi
Yep.
and the SL kids,
Yep.
Ronald and Alex, and like they were the best at the
Right.
time.
Right.
But everybody else was pretty lackluster.
Right.
Just trying to learn, figure it out. And then this is the nature of having too many people going street drifting.
Yep.
Somebody runs up and starts saying something about cops. So we all run and get in our cars and we take off. And we go to a gas station down the street. And we're all parked up there because some dude, his car died and he couldn't get it started. So we're all parked up there hanging out. And this dude walks out, this kid, he's probably younger than most of us.
Yeah.
16 maybe.
Okay.
He walks up to all of us and he's like, "Hey, what the fuck y'all think y'all doing? You think you're in some..." "Nah, man, we're just hanging out."
Yeah.
The balls of you to like walk up on like 40 to 50 dudes.
Yeah.
And try and start talking shit. And he's like, "Yo, I just want to let you know you're in motherfucking Greenspoint. I run Greenspoint," and lifts up his shirt and he's got a gun tucked in his pants.
Yep.
And there was one dude there. I cannot remember his actual name, but his screen name was Initial What. He had it tattooed on his forearm. Probably not the best Call of Duty screen tattooed on you. But
Right.
this dude, straight up, he's a big dude too. He was like 6'4", maybe,
Yeah.
6'3", 6'4". Tall dude, gets up in this dude's face and just starts talking shit back to him. And then some older dude walks a couple of the gas station and they see what's going on. They run over and they grab like a little puppy dog by the scruff of his neck. Like they grab him by the collar of his shirt and they drag him off and they're talking, like they're yelling at him like, "Why are you starting shit?" Like it was super funny.
Damn. What a time to be alive.
Yeah.
Dude, that's funny. Yeah, because I'm like, I work pretty close to Guns Point, and so I'm like trying to like think of like what possible like warehouse or something like that would be over there. So
yeah, man, I cannot remember for the life of me exactly.
Yeah,
I got a really good memory, but not when it comes to driving. I've got terrible.
Me too.
Like my direction, dude. I have to use GPS everywhere.
Yeah, it's just when you drive so much or did a bunch of that stuff in such a short time span, that it's just it all blends in. So okay, so and that was in the S13, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Were you street drifting in San Antonio with the Miata, or pretty much just going to like events at that point?
No, I was. So we had some spots that we originally, it was like the first year that I lived here.
Yeah.
There were certain spots that we found. Yeah, somebody put it in the chat, Gay Bar. So there's a spot that we called Gay Bar.
Okay.
That the sign leading into it. I mean, I guess I can give away the spot now because there's so many businesses there. There's no way you're going street drifting there anymore. But the sign says Gray Bar.
Oh yeah, Gray Bar, the company, yeah.
But it goes into this big industrial complex, and the Chicago spot where it's that right hand corner.
Yep.
But it's like a really wide right hand
Yep.
corner. It was exactly like that.
Okay.
And we would go hit that up every weekend. But we always called it Gay Bar because we didn't want anybody else to know what it was.
Yeah,
so if we were like hanging out with other people and we're like, oh, you want to go to Gay Bar? You know, people would be like, what are you talking about? Like, go to Gay Bar.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, yeah, let's go to Gay Bar. And so we kept it a secret for a while.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, that was a fun spot. I actually went back in the Mustang not too long ago. It was like just a weeknight, and I was cruising around. And I just hit up the corner a couple times just for old time's sake. But yeah, it was very similar. But yeah, we would go street drifting there all the time. Just lots that we would go street drifting in. Like we'd drive up a little ways into like hill country. And not necessarily drifting, just like spirited driving.
Right.
Down like hill country roads and stuff. But.
Yeah, I was about to say you're pretty close to all that stuff, and I've seen some really cool. Like it reminds me of like AJ from Risky Devil. He had a video, or he shared a video of someone doing some Arizona driving or something like that. But I was like, oh wow, like those roads are pretty similar to like the hill country. Like people should be able to like find something out there and drive that stuff too. So that was gonna be one of my questions, was ask if you ever found any cool like hill country roads to go.
Yeah, there's one. If anybody from San Antonio is watching, it's called Celio Vista. It's over by UTSA.
Mm-hmm.
I don't recommend going there anymore.
Right.
But back in the day, there was a lot less development over there.
Yeah.
So we would go hit that up late at night, and you know, we weren't necessarily trying to like drift.
Right.
We would just drive as fast as we could. And if the cars stepped out, it was so windy that you naturally were just learning kind of how to transition.
Yeah.
Go through the corners. That was probably closest to San Antonio, the best
right
that there was. But there was like, dude, it was high risk too, because there a guy that my wife knew from like the Eurocar people.
Yeah.
Dude, he sent this E30 M3 off the side of that thing, and like it's a decent drop.
Yeah.
Like that thing was done for. So
Jeez.
It's pretty risky.
Yeah, I was about to say it sounds pretty risky. And I think I've seen that. I've been there. Because I wanted to say that I forgot who I was with, but I remember the name. And someone was like, "Oh yeah, this is like so and so road," and like people drive it like pretty aggressively. So,
yeah, there's just a lot of houses over there, and it's a lot harder to get away with it.
Right. Okay, so I guess after that, you had the Miata, you drove the Miata. What made you go back to an F13?
Kind of the same thing of just like. What made me get rid of the S13 in the first place, had it, wasn't enough variety.
Yeah.
And then what made me want to go back to one was seeing in like, I guess it was probably 2010, 2011.
Mm-hmm.
I started seeing a lot more variety, and I was able to spend more money on my car.
Yeah. Because you're probably done with college, right? You're out of college,
mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, I finished college in 2009.
Okay.
2008 or 2009. Yeah, so I was done with college, and so I had sold the Miata. Well, I had sold the Miata with the intention of getting out of jail.
Oh, okay.
I was done with it. 2010 was a weird year. So it was like me, Russell Walker, and
yep.
like a couple other people that aren't into drifting, but we had all gone through like some weird bad breakups like all at the same time.
Yeah.
And so we collectively refer to it as sad summer now.
Okay.
We were
That's
just
awesome.
we were spending way too much time together, just like wallowing in our own sadness.
Yeah.
And it was like going out and just drinking just because we were sad, but like also because we were young.
Right.
It was a super formative time, but it made me and Russell super close because of that summer. But yeah, sad summer was something else. But I had gotten rid of the Miata because I was like, yeah, I'm done with drifting. Like, I'm sick of all this.
What were you sick of?
I was sick of like people's egos.
Yeah.
And I was sick of everybody. Dude, it was like a Keeping Up with the Joneses. Like everybody wanted the same thing that everybody else had, or they wanted to be better than the guy next to them. And I was just like, it wasn't fun to me anymore.
Right.
So it was like this. This was also at the time of like the race for everybody to build like real race cars.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. That's the turning point.
Yep. Get an LS motor and like cut as much weight out as you can. Like I was just really bummed on a.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm done with it. I just want to drive a car on the street and have fun with it. So I was like, oh, a Subaru, like that'll be fun. That lasted 8 months.
Jeez.
Before I got rid of that thing. I was like, this is not fun. I want another S13. And then I straight traded the WRX for a coupe that Emilio had put together.
Oh, cool.
So I knew it was good. I know Emilio's in the chat. Like, the dude he just has like an eye for just putting cars together very well.
Yeah.
So I knew it was a solid chassis and a good car. So traded the Subaru for that. And then like the next weekend, I drove it up to Dallas to XDC and hung out with a bunch of the East Coast dudes. And this was the first time that I had met like
people
Matt
from
Petty and Nick D'Alessio, a bunch of like the East Coast Club Loose dudes.
Yeah.
I met them that week. We ended up after XDC, we went to Nate Hamilton's parents' house. There was this insane party at Nate Hamilton's parents' house. Forsberg and Jared Deanda were. Jared Deanda got upset about something that Forsberg said and stormed off and started wandering around the neighborhood. This was like 4 o'clock in the morning too, by the way. Yeah. We have to go find him and like wrangle him back. Yeah, it was, and then we get back and Forsberg's just like, everybody's. We were just partying until super late. We drive back into Dallas because his parents' house is in like Fort Worth. We drive back into Dallas, which was like an hour drive, and I'm in the bed of this truck, and I'm just like, I remember laying there staring up at the stars. At like 6 a.m. The sun's kind of starting to come up, and like a plane flies overhead, and there's just like Russell's there. Some of the other Texas dudes are there in the truck, and I just think to myself, I'm like, this is this is it.
Right.
This is why I got back into drifting. This is why I got another S13.
Yep.
This is this camaraderie.
Yep. There you go. It's that feeling. Yep.
And then we went to sleep, and I woke up like 4 hours later. I didn't have that same fuzzy feeling, but at the time it was.
It's like a euphoric feeling.
Yeah,
and
it just
like
reminded.
Yeah. I don't know. It's something that you always like want to like chase. You know, it's like I don't know. It's just like this special moment that like for some reason it just clicks and it just like this is it. This is what I don't know. It's like your not passion project, but it's something that you I don't know, just like will forever remember.
Well, I'm sure you probably have a story that made you feel the same way. Like the first time that you met Ilya and Simba and
Yeah.
all of those dudes. Like there has to be this formative.
Yeah.
This is it, dude. Like
Yeah.
this.
There
This
was
is
yeah, there was like a I forgot the one time it was like I thought I could like pull off events was I think it was like after final about 3 or something like that, and like we were just like all around the circle like drivers and all those guys, and um they had this speech. It was like, hey, like this right here, we need everybody here to like take a little piece of this and take it home and plant it, and like just go from there kind of thing. And like since we were the only ones from Texas, I was like, okay, well, I guess it's up to us to do it, But it was like that moment. It was like, oh, I can have this back home. I just have to like work on it. So yeah, it's definitely those moments where you're just like, it's like you get a like an mo, right? It's like your mission. You're like, okay, like let's chase this feeling, kind of thing. So
yeah, and I mean I can see that in knuckle up stuff. Like
yeah,
it's if even having never been to final bout,
yeah,
just being around drifting for long enough, understanding like the different subsects of
yep,
drifting, like the different mindsets that everybody
yeah,
has, like I can very clearly see exactly what the goal is with knuckle
yeah,
up, and even where like the 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 impost is like what where you want it to be. I
right.
can, and I think it's super rad.
Dude, I mean, after your story, like what you're doing with Club Loose makes perfect sense now. Like that like it just connects immediately. Like that's the whole, like as soon as you were saying that, I was like, oh, okay, now I get what your goal is with Club Loose, and you're nailing it.
Yeah, I mean, well, thank you. I mean, it's not just me.
Right, I know.
It's like, dude, it's like so many people.
Right.
But it's um, growing up with the drift videos that JR would bring over. Like the Drift Alliance videos were huge
Yeah.
influences.
Right.
Seeing Bad as Hell for the first time was like it was absolutely life changing
Yep.
for me because I was like, this is just skateboarding but with cars.
Yep.
This is the coolest shit, and
Yeah, makes sense.
I think that's where like kind of my affinity for those East Coast dudes comes from, is because it was the Drift Alliance dudes that I looked up
Yep.
to.
Yep. Makes sense. Yeah. So I guess whenever you got onto Ziptide, that's when you started like chit chatting with those guys, or was it okay? So like that, and that's how that kind of met up, and then you said you met them at XTC and stuff like that.
Dude, so that's something else that like I was talking, I don't know, a couple of months ago about this.
Who are you talking to? You broke up.
Huh?
Who were you talking to? You broke up.
Just a few people.
Okay.
Ziptide was like, dude, it was lightning in a bottle. Like,
yeah.
you can never recreate that. The fact that you had every single, I wouldn't say every single, nearly every single influential person
Yep.
in drifting today
Yeah.
that got their start on that website.
Yep.
And we were all interacting with each other.
Yeah.
Like, and don't get me wrong, when I say we, I don't mean like, I don't try whatsoever. Like, I am, by the time I got on, like, I looked up everybody on that website so much. And the fact that I was able to be there and interact and talk with them.
Yeah.
And then years later down the road, introduce other people to them. And I think he's got this really cool Blitz boost controller in his car that I think he bought from Chris Forsberg.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like, it was such a small world type thing back then, which is kind of a bummer now, where and there's so much less, it's so much of a one-way interaction. it doesn't have that community anymore. You don't have
Right.
that camaraderie anymore.
Right.
There's now like, all right, there's these dudes that are up on a pedestal, and here's everybody else.
Right.
And you don't have that way of talking to them other than like commenting on videos and photos on Instagram. And that's not the same thing.
Right. It's super weird that you would think that with social media it would bring people closer, but it's just spread people apart, right? Because with everything being so instant and at our hands and stuff like that, it didn't have the effect that you would think it would be, you know?
Yeah, I can't remember. I can't remember if it was one of your podcasts or,
Yeah.
but it was a conversation about Discord and how Discord could be that.
Oh,
new
yeah. I was having
thing.
that idea. Yeah.
Was it one of yours?
Yeah. It was last week. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, like that whole concept of like Discord being that thing where you don't have these people that are put up like these influencer type people or content creators, whatever it might be. You're all on this Discord who you all have this common interest.
Yep.
And that's the same way that forums were back in the day.
Yeah, absolutely. You know. I mean, like some people were like more popular and stuff like that, but I remember whenever I like first started getting into drifting, you know, like all the Essence guys were on Ziptide, and they like knew all those guys, and I think I got accepted, but I never like interacted because Ziptide had already started like to essentially fall off, right? Like all those guys, some of the guys had moved on or like progressed in their like drifting careers, so they weren't like on it so much and stuff like that. But yeah, it was like I always felt like I was. What was that?
I vouched for you, by the way.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
See, but yeah, I just like that's like my Zovia build thread, right? It's titled "Late to the Party by a Whole Generation," right? Because like I felt like it was the second wave of like Texas drivers, and I'd like wanted to be part of that first wave so bad with the Ziptide stuff or all the Lone Star stuff, like you and Stu and Chelsea and Will and like all those guys. There was like a core group of you guys that were like at every event and all that other stuff, and I was like, damn, dude, like that'd be cool to be part of. And I was like, you know, whatever. But
that's super funny that you consider, because I don't consider myself as part of that original group.
Yeah.
I always felt like I was late to the party.
Right.
As far as those dudes, like by the time that I had started to catch up with those dudes, it was like they had already started building full-on race cars.
Right,
like,
absolutely, yeah.
Russell had at the time that lavender S13 with like Works 9, Garage BB wing, S15 SR with a 3071R on it, like. That car was cool by today's standards.
No, absolutely. Like when we were going through like the Texas stuff, like the Texas history stuff, it was, you could tell Russell's car, it was like ahead of its curve, way ahead. Like if you drop that car in today, like the car would rip. It'd be like what people would build now. It's wild. Yeah.
Still a cool car. So like, and then, you know, I mean, all the Viceroy cars. I saw somebody ask, like, when's Charlie Mercer going to get you your shirt?
Yeah.
I'm like,
that was Rad Mike, by the way. 224 Racing, yeah. That's funny.
So, dude, I'm like, all those Viceroy cars were ahead of their time.
Oh, yeah.
So I felt like I was a kid to them, even though I was the same age.
Yeah.
I felt like I was a kid to them, and I looked up to them and thought like, oh, shit, man, here I am in like my little paltry Miata, like just trying to putt around and keep up with you.
Right.
But at the time, I wouldn't say at the time. It doesn't matter in drifting if you're outgoing, you got a cool personality, and you're willing to meet other people. Like it doesn't matter how built your car is or how.
No, it doesn't.
Your car, like. You're gonna get accepted, and people are gonna like have a good time with you.
Yep, absolutely. So, as long as you like just mesh in, because I think people have a bad habit of putting people on pedestals and like whatever. Um, I know I've done it 100 times, especially like going to Final Bout. It was like, like Josh Revgasm. I was like, oh man, dude, like Josh is my hero, whatever. And now like, it's cool that I can call my friend. He's just like a big goober, right? Like, I should never put him there. And I always joke around like never meet your heroes because they just wind up being your friends,
Didn't
So
he? Hold up. Didn't he when he was parting out his old car?
yeah,
I thought this was super funny and like something that really he could only get away with. Maybe BH could probably get away with.
right.
Wasn't he like signing parts before he sent them?
I think people were asking him to sign stuff, and like he would like sell it, kind of thing. I think it was
That's
just like people would ask him for it, and he like knowing Josh now, like I'm sure it was probably people who he knew in person in Chicago, and like they knew that they were joking, and he was like, all right, I just signed it or whatever. But like it was like if it was, I mean, Josh is really nice. He probably would have done it for anybody that asked, but like
Sure.
he wouldn't have done it like I'm gonna sign this before I sell it, kind of thing,
That's yeah. I just think it's so like it's just funny. It's
Yeah.
super funny.
Yeah, or like BH, like before meeting BH, because I knew BH was like king of Zip Tide and like the All-Star Bash and all that stuff, because when you're an outsider looking in, you're trying to find how you can get in, and I was just in college or like first out of school or whatever, so I had like a lot of time, and I was just like on Zilvia or like I think before I got into Ziptide, I think Andrew had given me his login, so I was able to like scroll, like read stuff. Like I read like Stu's build thread and stuff like that, or like all kinds of stuff. So I was like trying to learn people and whatever. And BH was like this guy that was like like OG kind of guy. And
dude, when he had his car. So this isn't a big thing now, but
Yeah.
like 2009, 2010, he had a picture of his car on his debit card.
yes,
It was like him, like he was going off track at Horse Thief Mile.
yep, in the blue S14, yep, with arrow blown up. Yeah,
blue
he
S14.
had, dude.
He had that on his debit card, and like that was such a flex back then. Like to
Dude.
have this stupid drift car on your car.
On your debit card, yeah. And like
Yeah.
it was so funny because like whenever I built my S13, it was like inspired by BH. I wanted a white Type X car, like easy. And so years later, I don't know what it was. Was it Final Bout 2 or something like that? But it was the fact like BH had posted that he had that tumor and he had brain surgery or whatever, yada yada yada. And I pretty much messaged him. I was like, hey BH, like I had brain surgery too. If you need any advice or want to talk about something, like let me know, like because I might be able to help you or whatever. And that was pretty much how I sparked off with becoming friends with BH, because we both had these like traumatic brain surgeries, and then it was kind of like, oh, let's get BH to Final Bout, because he was all about that stuff, and so we rallied in and like donated and got his flight out there and stuff like that, and then we get to hang out with BH, and it was like, oh, he's just, dude, BH is such a goober, dude. He's such a clown. Like if you meet BH in person and then go back to Zilvia and read his like posts, it all makes sense. It's a complete different like a sense of what was going on back there. It's like so hilarious. But
one of the quotes that I will never forget from, because Stuart had it, man, going back to forum days. Remember when you could like take somebody's quote
Yep.
and put it in your
Yep.
signature?
Yep.
Yeah, Stuart had one from him.
I
that
remember
said,
this.
Keep it sick and women are objects.
That's right, brother.
I'm like, dude, totally 2021. That shit does not.
No.
However, it was a joke. Like,
Oh, dude, if you knew BH and he would say that now, it's like he's just like quoting something that he read like in a magazine or something like that. It's like so
Yeah.
off the wall. Like his reference, you would never know what it was from. But yeah, keep it sick and women are objects. I remember Stu's signature from BH.
it's probably still in his signature.
I'm sure.
Okay, so the brain surgery thing, there was a thing on Ziptide, like a little donation, like
Yes.
GoFundMe type deal.
Yep.
he had, I've never met the dude before.
Yeah.
He ended up sending me a card afterwards, like a handwritten
Mm-hmm.
card, which was super awesome. But what I didn't know you had brain surgery.
Yeah, dude. I have a huge scar, and like this part of my skull has like a big dent in it. So.
I'm not a judgmental person, so I've never noticed.
Oh yeah. See, well, I used to have hair and stuff like that, but I always wear a hat and stuff like that. So, but yeah, it was just like, it was like my shoe in to like talk to BH kind of thing, you know. But now it's like,
if I had my skull cut open.
Yeah, like, hey, let's bond over this. Yeah.
How can I use this?
Yeah. Yeah, because BH was done with cars. By the time I was like getting into it, he'd sold his S13 and stuff like that, and he wasn't ever like posting on stuff, and he wasn't on Zilvia at the time, and I think before that he had stopped doing All-Star Bash and like got off Zip Tide and all that other stuff. So he was just like this enigma or whatever, but
I think I'm more just shook by the fact that you've had brain surgery and I didn't know.
Yeah, dude. It's I think I told this story once before, but
we don't have to. We don't have to.
Yeah. This is more about you. This is more about you. But in March, I'll show you. You can look at it. It's cool. I guess I don't know. Okay, so Zip Tide. You get the S13. You had the S13 for a while, I guess, right? Like 5-6 years, maybe.
Yeah. I got it in 2011, and I got rid of it in 20. I parted it out. I started parting it out in 2018.
Yeah.
But that was the second one. The first one, the coupe that I got from Emilio got T-boned.
T-boned. I remember. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I was out driving.
I think that was
Sunday night. We went, me and my friend Charles, both in our S13. We like drove to downtown.
Yep.
We didn't check the weather beforehand. Didn't realize there was a big storm coming in. And as I'm going through this turn to get onto the highway, the car steps out. So I toss it, and I'm sliding through, and so it's like 2-lane highway plus like 1 lane that's like my lane to merge.
Right.
And the back end of my car started to go into the
lane.
The lane.
Yep.
And the car over rotated because I wasn't.
Right.
And I saved it at like 90 degrees. And then as soon as I put it in first gear to start out the car, because I was just going to pull off to the shoulder.
Yeah.
I was kind of shook because I wasn't expecting it.
Right.
I just, boom, T-bone from the passenger side. It sent the car like spinning around.
Yeah.
And, it was gnarly. But shouts out to Cusco Cages. That cage didn't have door bars. Legit stopped that car from coming into my car.
Yeah. I remember seeing the pictures. I don't know. Maybe it was on Zip Tide or something like that. But I remember like it was in the garage, and you had it, and like I remember the blue cage and like just crushed in.
I still have in the garage the speaker cover. The speaker cover wrapped
around the cage, right? Yeah.
I have that hanging up in the garage. It's probably something I'll never get rid of because. Yeah, I mean, anybody that says Cusco cages don't work, they 100% do work as long as you've got proper hardware.
Right, and mounting plates and stuff like that. Yeah.
That thing stopped up. That car was going highway speeds, and it kept if there was somebody in the passenger seat, they probably would have gotten hurt.
Yeah.
But it kept it from going any further than there.
Right.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I forgot you reshelled. I forgot about that.
Yeah, so I was bummed, and I ended up because it was the only coupe shell that was available.
Mm-hmm.
And in retrospect, was a bummer because like the front end, like the core support had been cut off, welded, it wasn't straight. So like my Sylvia front never lined up right, and I think the frame was tweaked a little bit. So like nothing ever really fit right on that car. So as much as I enjoyed it and I continued to build it and continued to work on it, it just, for all the years after I reshelled it, it never felt quite right.
Yeah. What? Okay. What was I remember you had like an SR debacle where you had like got this SR and like had it machined and put it together and it was still like doing something really weird and you had to like machine something like super like not sketchy but it was like very unusual or something like that. I couldn't remember the details, but I just remember you were like going through these like issues with this SR.
Yeah, without getting too like technical and boring with it, the SR that Emilio had given me that was in the first car
Yeah.
was super great. It was like T28, S14 SR. Everything worked. AC worked. It was an awesome motor. And then one event, I don't know exactly what happened or why, but the fourth cylinder, there was detonation.
Yeah.
Fourth cylinder melted.
Yeah.
So I pulled it out, and I got a block from for stupid cheap.
Yeah.
I think like $50.
Yeah.
I got a block from somebody, and I was like, you know what? It's cheap enough that I'm willing to just.
Right.
And it didn't work. It
Right.
started knocking as soon as I started up. So I was like, all right, well, lesson learned.
Right.
I'm just out some time and effort.
Yeah.
Swapping it in. Pulled it back out and bought a fully built block.
Okay.
It was sick. Like the block should have been. The block was capable of like 500 horsepower.
Yeah.
Got that from him. And then something I can't remember the detail, but something happened. I needed a new. Oh, that's right. I had an S14 SR, so I had an S14, an S13 block. Turns out the only difference between the two is for the timing chain tensioner, there's an oil passage. And on the S14 block to the S13 block, it's in a different position. So you have to drill out this one section.
Gotcha.
So I took it to somebody, they drilled it out, we ran some threads down the other side, plug.
Yeah.
And I was like, cool, we're good. Put it together. I was like, cool. I did a 2871 enthalpy tune.
Yep.
You know, it was a pretty basic setup.
Yeah.
And I took it to Martin to get it tuned in Dallas. Jeremy and I drove it up, or we trailered it to Dallas, and went to get it tuned. And I had started it up a couple times in the garage, and it was fine. But then as soon as Martin started getting it, just started pissing oil out where the head in the block.
Jeez.
Like made a huge mess in the floor of this. It's like they had rented the dyno. I felt really bad, but cleaned it up and tried to fix it that day. Couldn't fix it.
Right.
Turned out that where it had been drilled, it wasn't drilled enough. Had to pull the head off again, go through that whole thing. Anyway, slap it all together. It's working great. The car is ripping. It's tuned. Like low boost is like 18 psi. High boost is like 23 psi.
Yeah.
The car is super quick, and I'm having a lot of fun. And then I take it to Mineral Wells, and that was that Mineral Wells 2017 that I had posted.
Yeah.
I put on my story.
The day, a lot of cars died that day. Holy shit.
Yeah, so I took it to that event, and that's in, and that's when I was just like, dude, I'm done with it. I'm done with SRs, and I think Hector knows he did a similar thing, and he had issues with head gasket.
Yep.
As well, and now he's back to a stock SR, and he's having a lot of fun with it.
Yep.
And it's, stock SR is best SR.
Yep. Yeah.
And it took me too long to figure that out.
Yeah.
But dude, that weekend was something else.
Yeah, that was I don't know, dude. I mean, like, I don't regret it at all. I mean, like, a lot of, I don't know, but I do feel like that was like the breaking point for a lot of people. I mean, not like a lot of people, but like, I don't know, just like going back to Mineral Wells and like doing that stuff, you know. I don't know.
I want to tell that story about that Mineral Wells trip because that was I posted on his. It was kind of a, it was a not kind of, it was a very bad week for a lot of
Yeah,
people, but it was
yeah,
super formative for a lot of people that are really involved in Texas drifting now.
yeah.
So I'm gonna go pee real quick and
Yep.
then
Okay, that's fine.
I'll be right
Go
back.
do what you gotta do. We'll talk about the day mini cars died. It was yeah, dude. I don't know. It was sucked. Hector crashed. I crashed. Tyler blew up a car. Rob crashed. Brad crashed. I don't know. Mini cars were reborn though. That's for sure. I mean, you know, if we didn't have that day, then we wouldn't be here today. So that's the way I always think about it. So I don't know. It is what it is. I don't know. So, anyways, how's everybody going? Tyler's been here for an hour. What's the best thing about the weekend, Harris? Kev, you're gonna buy a Cusco now, 7-point. That means you're just gonna crash, right? Let's see. BH was always flexing his photos. Oh yeah, dude. That weekend, yeah, that was funny. I don't know, was that the weekend that we brought Smash? I think so, because it was like the first time I trailered to Mineral Wells, and we brought Super Smash Brothers for I don't know what reason we decided to play it, and yeah, we ate at the Mexican restaurant or whatever, and yeah, that was a good part. I enjoyed that part, but one time I was at Mineral Wells and I didn't bring sunscreen, and I got so burnt on my shoulders that I had blisters. So I hate that place. I just never had good luck at Mineral Wells. I think it was just too young to be smart about things, but I did learn a bunch of lessons, so I don't have to go through that stuff. Are you back? Can you hear us?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right. So, yeah, that event was like super formative, I think, for a lot of people because I blew the SR, and then shortly after that, decided like, okay, gotta decide something else.
Right.
But Rob Esparza wrecked his car.
Yep.
And I still love that car.
Yeah.
Red Hatch is so cool. But he had that little what is it?
The hydraulic press thing, right?
Yeah, the Porta Power. I think that's
Porta Power. Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, he had that with him, and so when you had wrecked your car, you were so bummed.
Dude, I was fucking, dude, I was so heartbroken.
You were in front of me in grid,
yeah,
right? And you took off, and I left a little. I gave you some space.
Yeah.
You took off, and then you entered, and you smacked the wall.
Yeah, T-boned it.
And I was like, oh fuck, Jimmy. And like I drove around. You had gotten off the track, and I did my second lap, and I washed out in the same exact spot.
Yeah.
Where you did.
Yeah.
And if you hadn't pushed the
barrier,
away,
yeah.
I would have been in the same position you would have been in.
Jesus.
So I get back to the pits. I'm like, oh man, let me go check on him. Everybody was all around your car.
Yeah.
And I could tell that you're a pretty positive person.
I try to be.
But I could tell that you were genuinely upset.
Well, the thing was that like, I mean, this is at the point where, there was a lot of like, shit posting on Facebook about like the style guys versus the driving guys, and like TXSL was going on, and I felt like I was gonna prove a point that you could like drive well with a low car and yada yada yada, and I like put my shit into a fucking wall like a rookie, and I was like, I felt so ashamed, but I couldn't like let people know that I was ashamed, so I just like try to put on like my best smile and just like, it happens, because I it happened. Like, what can I do about it? You just keep it going on.
I don't think there's anything. When I came up, I was like, Jimmy, like, Rob has this thing. Let me go get it. Like, let's pop this thing out. Like, you keep driving. You're like, oh man, like it's pushed up against the town. I'm like, we'll get it out. Like, you did. Like,
we got it. We used that thing, and it pushed it out, and I was able to drive a little bit more. But I mean, I was still pretty defeated, and I wasn't gonna drive the next day, so we just like packed the car up and like left the next morning. But
yeah, and then I mean that same event, that's when Hector went full on straight into the same wall.
Yep, went through the wall.
And I think about that event a lot when I'm like setting up or trying to come up with course designs, stuff, because I don't know if it was, I don't know how much of all of those fuck ups were driver error and track setup error.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to put all the blame on Aaron.
No.
Because of course, there's some driver error involved in that too. But like to have all those cars wreck in the same spot, and then the walls got moved.
Yeah, that was my biggest. It used to upset me for a long time. Well, not a long time, but back then, because we had that driver's meeting and they put the wall on entry, and I was like, no, like we should, like, because I think I talked to Aaron prior to the driver's meeting. I was like, what's up with the wall? Like, I don't think we should have that wall there, yada yada yada. And we had the driver's meeting, and they were like, everybody's like, no, keep the wall, and I remember myself and I don't know who else, like maybe 2 or 3 of us raised our hands like to vote the wall off, like he would move the wall, and nobody was about it. And then it was, I crashed, Rob crashed, Hector crashed, and I want to say someone else did. And at that point, I think there was another driver's meeting, or like the next day or the next morning of the driver's meeting, Losi decided to remove the wall because everybody else was like, oh, let's move the wall. And I was like, dude, if we would have just all been on the same page from the get-go, like we would have all been okay.
I think it was, I might be mixing up multiple events, but I think Brad Burnett hit the wall too.
Brad didn't hit that wall. After the sweeper at Mineral Wells, you come into like the power alley thing. Mm-hmm. He was coming out from that and like just T-boned one of those walls.
Yes, because they were all lined up because around to rub up against that wall and then go
into the circle of death. Yep.
And something had happened and he hit the edge of that wall straight on.
Yep.
That was a wild event. But it was after that event that I realized, okay, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe this isn't what I want to be doing. I know for you, it took you a little bit to kind of, it was probably shortly after that you were like, all right, I'm going full in on the.
Yeah.
And then with Hector too, before that, I had been talking to Hector for a while.
Yeah.
Dude, you can have a low car, still have it drive well.
Yeah.
It needs to be this concept of like a total tune. Like everything needs to complement each other. Like if you just lower your coilovers all the way and then be like, oh man, I'm gonna drive just as good as like these Pro-Am level cars. Like it's not gonna happen.
Right.
Like physics are against you.
Yep.
The car looks cooler for sure, but like fact of the matter is that physics are against you. And but there are ways to work around it. Having that wouldn't work. And now, I think we have all learned so much from that 4 years.
Yeah.
That we've all kind of come to a place where we're way better off in drifting than.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, I think I've said it before, is like, once I knew, like, my mistake was driver error, like, it was more driver error than anything. It was just unfortunate that the wall was there, right? I couldn't wash out. But at that point, I knew that, like, a lot of people were excelling more as a driver. And at that time, I wasn't too much into driving. I was more in just, like taking my car to an event, go driving, hang out with friends. It was like the whole experience more than just driving. But I knew at that point a lot of people were excelling and getting better, and so that's why I was like, okay, well, this isn't for me. Like, I need to probably step away and, like, they do their own thing now. So
yeah, and I mean, I think that's what led us to both kind of going down the two avenues that we've taken, where it's like I hate comparing drifting to skateboarding because
why? I think it's a great analogy.
I do too. However, both of them are so valuable in their own right that it's fair to be.
Okay.
This is directly analogous to this thing.
Right.
Like, there's not a direct comparison of the two.
Right.
But it's like in skateboarding, you've got the competition dudes, you've got the street dudes, you've got the park dudes, and there's no reason why they all can't get along.
Yeah,
they do all get along, but they all have a mutual respect for their own discipline, their own thing that they want to do.
Absolutely.
And there is overlap between them too, and there's no reason why drifting shouldn't be the same way.
It is, and I think it's, I think I'm a firm believer it takes maturity. You have to be able to be in the sport for a while to kind of understand that, and be somewhat confident in your own self, and realize that, like, regardless of everything else going on, like, you'll be okay, or what am I trying to say is just, it doesn't matter what other people do, kind of thing, and I think that just comes with age and whatnot. So
yeah, I agree. It definitely does come with age and with experience,
right.
Because if you look at drifting and you're like, oh, this is, I'm going to build the sickest car and I'm going to drive, go out and just show everybody else, like, how sick this thing is that I made. Like, that's not really the way it works.
Yeah. I don't know. It's tough because you can't, like, force people to be accepting, like, that has to be like a natural thing, and it's a lot. Some people just don't get it, or whatever. But those who do, it makes not only their own experience but others' experiences better.
I think too that maybe I've seen drifting, this mentality of drifting, acceptance level, but, like, I would argue that the dudes at Club Loose are super accepting of Club Loose Texas. They're super accepting of everybody.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Which I love, and I love that we're able to, foster that and push that, because, they just, a lot of those people just love drifting.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Knuckle Up, dude, I felt the same way when the first event I went to, when I met the Fat Cats dudes, who I'd never met in real life before. It was just like, my car is not like your car, but that's okay. Because we're here together, doing the same thing together.
Yep.
We did at the same level.
Yep.
I don't know, man. Like that mutual respect is
It's
super
crucial.
important.
Yeah, it's like the thing that I compare it to is like you have Lone Star, Club Loose, and Knuckle Up. It's like a Venn diagram, right? And like you have Lone Star on one side, and you have Knuckle Up on the other, and Club Loose is like the perfect like middle ground. Whereas like, you know, I don't know, it's cool. I really want people to like realize how lucky Texas is to have all these kind of avenues for drifting and not pin each other against each other, you know. But you know, to each their own.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Like the fact that many different things, different ways to enjoy drifting is we're super lucky.
We are, yeah. And I don't know.
Because I don't know of anywhere else in the United States except for maybe California where you can do that same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's yeah, cuz I mean maybe on the East Coast, but like then you have to put it in the fact that we can like literally drive all year round. So like, you know, I don't know.
Dude, I was thinking about that. Okay. We had contemplated this before. Like, what if we took the summers off because it's so hot and awful, and we just drove through December, January, February? But it's so the weather's so unpredictable in the winter. Like sometimes you get a day like today that's absolutely
it was beautiful today.
And then sometimes it's like tomorrow. It won't be tomorrow.
Right.
You know? It could be a high of 36.
Yeah. A cold front could blow in and it makes it miserable because we're not used to it. No, absolutely. Yeah. No, we're you know.
I think it was last year. Some of the Club Loose East Coast came down to San Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
It was a motorcycle thing. Like they came down to the hill country and like rode around motorcycle. There was one day we met up with them, and it was a gorgeous February day.
Mm-hmm.
And they said the same thing. They're like, "Why aren't you hosting an event right now?"
Right.
And we were like, "Because we don't know if it's actually gonna be nice."
Right.
And then we started talking a little bit more about like during the summertime, you get, despite the heat, you still get more people that want to come out just because it's summertime. Like, I don't know. It's
No, I mean it makes sense. This year we're taking the summer off. Like we're gonna try it out because we're not having an event. Like our last event is like middle of May or something, and then we have June, July, and August off. We're not driving the summer, and we'll come back in September. And
That's a smart move.
We're gonna see how it works. You know, maybe. I mean, if push comes to shove, if people want to drive or whatever, we can organize a day to go driving. That's no problem. But if it's 110 degrees outside, I don't want to be outside anymore.
So that was the problem that we had. So, like the first couple of years, we took August off because it's just too hot.
Yeah, it's the hottest part. Yeah.
And then last year, we're like, oh well, what if we do? We did an event called Level Up, where it was targeted at C and B group drivers.
Yep.
We put them on the big track, and we built like kind of a technical-ish track. Mm-hmm. And the whole goal of that day was learn and then get their sticker to move up to the next run.
Yep.
And the response was, despite the fact that it was 100.
Yeah.
The response was amazing, and we had a bunch of A group dudes come out to instruct and help out, and it was super cool. So we're gonna do it again this year.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Like the like our training session, like our beginner groups, we have 4 throughout the year, but the response for the first one, like, I mean, it sold out immediately as soon as we announced it, but people are still like trying to figure out how they can get in, or they want to buy tickets if someone who can't come in or whatever. So the need for that, and I don't mind if it's a Sunday or whatever. If I have the tent and we're in the shade and we're hanging out during the summer, that's no problem. But and those guys probably haven't driven enough to realize like how much it sucks driving a car in the heat all summer, whatever. But if the passion's there, it'll supersede whatever heat or weather conditions will be there. But Yeah, I don't know. We decided to, open up the summer, and we'll see if we need to have some like special events, private days, or another beginner day or whatever. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it works. Hopefully it works, because it would be cool to like, kind of just drive throughout the whole year and um, just take summers off.
I think it'd be cool. I mean, if you guys plan, winter events when nobody else is running, of course you're going to get
Yeah,
interest.
yeah,
Um, but then at the same time, like you hear from like the Midwest dudes that are just like, oh, I love having an off because it
yeah.
gives me to refresh the car,
No, absolutely. Yeah,
which is
yeah.
nice too. So,
No, absolutely. And that like we've talked about that too. Like um, we admire the Midwest and like their styling and everything like that, but it comes from the fact that 6 months out of the year they're pinned inside because of the winter, so they have nothing to do but to either build a car, look online, and study like cool styling and all that other stuff. Like, you know, it's a double edged sword, but if we keep the doors open, then I don't think people will really have chance to you know, build what we think is cool cars for Knuckle Up, right? But I don't know.
okay, so let me ask you this.
Okay.
So there's that concept of like they've got the off season,
Yep.
they research and look at all the
Yep.
plan and like how do
Yep.
I refresh the car, how do I change it
Yep.
up, and so that's one aspect of them
Yep.
and the style that they have. One of the things that we probably the biggest thing in the Club Blue book that people get upset about
Okay.
is the fact that we say, okay, if you're going to be an A group,
What, you broke up? You have to have what?
if you're going to be an A group, you have to have a cage and door,
Okay.
right?
Right.
Unless if the car's above
2003. Right. Yes.
Right. And there have been a lot of people that have been given kickback to that rule.
Okay.
And my mentality of, or I'm sorry, not just my, but our mentality.
Right.
If you're going to take the time to put a full cage in your car, that overall is going to make you want to make the whole car a better
Yes.
vehicle.
Yep.
Rather than just say, I want coilovers and I'm going to go tandem and go door to door. Like, if you're going to take the time to build the car to that level,
Yep.
it's going to make for a better car.
Right.
However, what I want your opinion on is, does that just create more race car mentality, or does it create to this total tune mentality?
I think it caters to the race car mentality. Because I think I honestly think the like a Cusco bolt-in roll cage is more geared to the guys who are interested into the Japanese older style of drifting. You take your cage to go get a fabricated like weld-in roll cage kind of thing. I think that is just geared towards like race car. This is serious. I need to spend time driving my car or making sure it performs, because the way I'm going to be driving, it's just going to get damaged, and there's no point in me trying to spend money on making it look clean or nice or anything like that. Like that's just, and it's I feel so like it feels rude saying this, like saying that idea, but I don't know. That's just what I've seen. I know it doesn't apply to everybody, but I from what I've seen is, a lot of people, they want the cage so they can go tandem, so they can go door to door and replicate what they see or what they think is cool, right? And it's just personal opinion. I've come to learn that I can't tell what other people what is cool. That's why for Knuckle Up, it's if people understand what we're trying to do and like our styling and stuff like that, the doors are open. But some people just haven't understood like what we're trying to do, and they think it's just an opportunity to drive on the track. We just fortunate enough to drive on that track or whatnot, but it's just really hard to read the mentality of people.
So I'm reading the chat, what you guys are saying. The concept of I understand.
Yeah.
When I had the Miata, I had built full. This was when he was first starting out fabricating.
Yeah.
And he had built me a full FD spec cage.
Yep.
For the Miata.
Yeah.
And it looked so sick. Like when the hardtop, it looked awesome.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
Yeah.
But the day that I picked it up from Austin, because the car was still a street-driven car, I drove the car to Austin, dropped it off.
Yep.
He did the cage, and when it was done, I drove it back home. And I remember driving it back home and sitting there, and I was like, this doesn't feel the same.
Yep.
This is not, I don't think this is what I want.
Right.
And it was like instant buyer's remorse, and it was such a, because I liked the cage, and I liked the way.
Yeah.
It didn't feel the same as the way the car did before.
Right.
And so I totally understand that.
Yeah.
Why, cageless tandems. And,
yeah.
Somebody said I think cageless tandems should be approved based on driving.
Yeah.
I would love to be able to do that
Yeah.
if we didn't have 120 to 150 person events.
Right.
It's a lot harder to do that
Yep.
when you have that many people.
Right.
And that's why with my old S13, I did like the middle ground where I had the.
Yep.
And then I got really low door bars put in.
Yep.
And they were bent out of the way.
Yep.
They didn't interfere at all.
Yep.
That car felt great, and I liked having the cage in there because it still made it that fun, like, race car feel while it was still totally a street car.
Right.
So that's why we still accept, Cusco cages.
Yeah.
With door bars are fine.
Yeah. Because
I get it. I understand that not everybody wants to have a real race car.
Right.
But I look at the dudes on the East Coast, and granted, they got a full track. They've got wall.
Yeah.
That track is dangerous.
No, absolutely. And,
And
the cages are all in good intention.
This year, their rule book, if I remember correctly, every A group car has to have a full.
Yeah.
Like, every car has to have a full cage. Every A group car has to have. If you've got a cage, you have to have harnesses.
Yep.
And you have to have a Hans device.
Yeah.
Which, like, that's a whole nother level.
Yeah, absolutely. But if you see their level of driving, dude, like, it's just a combination of like they're fast at that track now, at Englishtown. They're fast. There's the wall, and they're stacking deep now. Like there's like 5-6 car tandems all the time. So it's just like the risk factor goes up. So, for those guys to probably keep things going the way they want to, they have to bump up the safety, and it might be a burden for others, but it's necessary for everybody, right?
I think it's also with them, like when you've got this is their 18th year, I think, of throwing events at that track.
Yeah.
They started in the parking lot and they worked
there.
Yeah. Like they have that ability. They have that clout to be able to be like, look, this is the way it is.
Yep.
And if you don't like it, too bad.
Right.
Because we're trying to do, and that's another thing too, is you've got to work with insurance too.
Yep.
And if your insurance says a certain, and then something happens, dude, that could be it. Like that could be it for your events. And,
you're done.
That's another thing that I think a lot of people don't take into consideration is they don't really think about, like, well, there's the whole legal side of it,
Right.
which
Yeah. They like a lot of people don't like. It's not that they
there's no,
can't comprehend. They just don't. It's not. It's not in the light, right? It's not out there, so they don't know. I think like we like for Knuckle Up, we don't have. You don't need a cage to tandem, but I think the thing is that since we take a lot of pride in our vehicles and like we want to make them nice and stuff like that, that pretty much restricts us from driving really really hard and needing the cage. So that's why I feel like we can get away with it, because we know that our drivers aren't going to be the ones that are trying to go as fast as they can into the entry and stacking up or stuff like that, right? So it's kind of like this artificial limiter or something like that, right? That kind of justifies us not needing cages for tandem.
no, I think that's a good way of putting it, like an artificial. Um, I agree with you. I saw Colin put in chat. He was like, it depends on the track and driver skill.
Mm-hmm.
I think with a place like Speed Sports 2, it's understandable to drive without cages because it is a slower track.
It is, yes.
It is a slower track, and you don't have areas. And you've got this curbing,
mm-hmm.
you've got grass, where if somebody really goes wrong,
yeah,
they're going to end up in the grass. They're going to stop before
Yep.
they end up in the other part of the track because
right.
they're not going fast enough, and there's
Yep.
a barrier in there.
Yep.
So again, taking that into account, like driver skill plus also track that.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, Danny, I did say, I mentioned insurance,
Yeah.
like that being a thing.
Right. And I know a lot of our newer drivers, because again, their cars, they don't want to like mess up their cars because they spend all this time to making it look a certain way or whatnot, They don't want to like go jump in and drive with other people and have the chance of like screwing it up. There's like a mutual respect there. So I think that's another thing. So it's just like the nature of our style of drifting is what kind of like supports the way we've been doing things. So
I think that's also an age thing too, is like you are reckless in your youth. Yep. Everybody is reckless in their
Yep.
youth. That's the way it is. And that's part of the reason why, like, let's look at, I know you're not a super huge F1 fan, but like,
Yeah.
let's look at F1.
Mm-hmm.
That's a reason why a lot of teams are signing younger F1. That's why they're signing younger F1 drivers, because those dudes, not that they're reckless, but they're willing to risk than something older.
Sure.
And that can pay off big time.
Yeah.
But in drifting, especially at a grassroots level, like, you don't want that risk because that's coming back on you.
Yep, absolutely. It's going to land in my face if, whatever. So, yeah, I just, I don't know. I mean, again, but also we have these different venues for drifting. So people that do want to, drive like that, there's places for that, There's times, stuff like that, instead of, oh, well, Club Lou's, you have to have a cage to tandem. I don't want to go there. I'm going to go to a Knuckle Up, right? And then, well, it's like, well, yeah, but it's
still
it's
right
because they're looking out for you. They're like, they want to make things safe for everybody. So don't be so selfish, kind of thing. I don't know.
Here's a good example of going back to the skateboarding thing that I said I hate comparing it to, but I don't know. It's all I know, I guess.
Yeah.
So
no, absolutely.
The Formula D Texas, well, there wasn't one last year, so I guess the year before that.
Okay.
2018.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was 2018. Regardless, get there on Friday, and my car was going to be, Mustang was going to be parked in the BC booth.
Okay.
There in the pits at FD.
Right.
So I drove up there. We were having a whole, we got an Airbnb right by
Yep.
the track. It was gonna be a whole party with all the boys and,
Yep.
and watch FD and have a good time. And so we get there on Friday night, and I run into Cy and Aaron.
Yeah.
And I don't have anything against Aaron. I think he's a goober sometimes,
Yeah.
but
I mean, we all are. So
yeah. So we start talking, and it was the first year of Club Loose, and he was like, "Oh man, how's Club Loose?" So man, yeah, man, it's good. It's really good for a first year of events. And then he started talking about Lone Star, and he was like, "Oh man, like Lone Star's just turned into like this. It's like it's like a country club. It's all these rich."
You're breaking up. You're breaking up.
Sorry.
You're right.
He was like, it's turned into a country club, and these kids are coming out with all these crazy built cars, and they're super fast.
Yeah.
And he's like, they're spending so much money every single event.
Yeah.
And I just remember telling him, I'm like, that's fine, man. Like, that's cool. I'm glad that you've got that, but like, you can have the country club.
Mm-hmm.
I want the skate park.
Sure.
You can have the place where the people want to go and spend a bunch of money.
Yeah.
I want the place where everybody's welcome.
Yeah.
And you can come and get better.
Yep.
And have a good time and be with your friends. Like, there's room for both, and there's no reason why both shouldn't exist.
Right.
It's just two different mentalities. And
I
think that talking about that Venn diagram, again, there's overlap.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But there's room here in Texas for all of them to exist.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it does bug me that like people can't be like, oh, hey dude, like, yeah, like here's it, there, you can have the skateboarders, you have the BMX guys, and then you have the inline, the fruit booters, right? Everyone's going to the skate park, right? If everybody just stays out of their way, everybody's fine. Everybody's having fun at the skate park. No big deal. Like, I just wish more people were like realize that what Club Duluth is doing, Lone Star, Knuckle Up, or whatever. We're not interfering with anybody or each other, really. Like, so it shouldn't matter what we're doing. Easy as that.
And I mean, if on a grander scale, like, if anything, as organizers, we should be giving a place for everybody to be.
Yeah.
I know you and I both have the same mentality. And Club Loose also has the same mentality on this, where it's like, if you want to come from another group, like, we're not gonna tell you no. Like, why would?
No, absolutely.
Like, please come, hang out, have a good.
Yep.
See what we're about and have fun.
Yeah, I'm not gonna pick on anybody, but Colin, I think Colin's a great example of that, right? Because we all knew Colin, like driving Lone Star before he had a license. He was coming out, he was taking that path of, pro-am and stuff like that and whatever, and then he finally, I don't know what did it for him, but he was like, well, I don't really want to do that. Like, I like the low cars with the big body kits and like low stuff, whatever. Like, I want to go do that. And then he was like, he just showed up to Knuckle Up, and he's been coming ever since, So it's like, people can change and, come to different stuff. It's cool to see. You just got to get in where you fit in. So,
Colin, I know that you're in chat. I don't know if you're listening right now. How old is Colin now?
Oh man, I want to say maybe 20, 21.
Really?
Yeah, Colin, how old are you? 19. Holy shit.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, that's what I thought. So, all right, I'm gonna out myself as being a real asshole.
Oh, I got an asshole story for Colin too, so let's do it.
Okay, so when I remember first seeing when he was driving as like 13, 14 years old, going to Lone Star events, dude, he was like Losi's golden boy. Losi was like putting him
yeah.
up on a pedestal, like, pushing his shit on social.
He's talented. I would have too.
100%. I get it. But I remember seeing it as an outsider and seeing him. And again, this is where the asshole mentality comes in. I was like, man, fuck this kid. This young kid, super good. Like, I had the same mentality when I was, watching skateboarding, and I would watch like kids like Ryan Sheckler. Perfect example. Ryan Sheckler.
Yep.
That kid. He gets everything handed to him.
Too good.
And it wasn't until recently, like seeing what Colin's doing now, and like it made me take a step back and reevaluate myself and be like, man, like you were being a real dick.
Yep.
And probably a pretty cool kid.
Yeah.
Like, why should you jump to those conclusions?
Right.
So I don't know, Colin. Sorry.
Yeah. No. And that just goes back to like everybody's getting older and more mature, and like, it's becoming a much peaceful playground. My story with Colin is that we were at GGP one time, and I want to say this was whenever my car was still black, and Colin had walked over or whatever, and he was like, hey dude, I really like your car, like your car's my favorite car here, or something along those lines. And I knew who he was, and I knew the BMW he was driving, and I started thinking to myself, I'm like, shut the fuck up, you're driving like this BMW Pro-Am car, what, you don't know anything about what my car is or anything. Like, how do you say? So I just chalked it up to him like maybe being nice or whatever, so I was like, it's nice to, I appreciate it, but like, you have no fucking idea. But now look at him, like, he's all about it, he's just like, maybe he knew, back I don't know. Anyways, sorry, Colin. I feel bad, but but again, that was 4 or 5 years ago, whenever we were just being dickheads on the internet, so we just had that. It was really toxic, and I'm just like, I'm happy to be far away from that stuff.
Same.
So,
okay, that reminded me.
Okay.
Two stories, both involving people that probably a lot of everybody watching knows. One is T Cox, and one is Harrison.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, so let's start with the T Cox story.
Okay.
T Cox, man, I cannot say enough about that dude. But the first time I met him, he shows up to GGP, and this was back when nobody really trailered a car.
Okay.
You drove your car to the event.
Yep.
It was really only the older guys that would trailer their cars out. And this dude, I see this truck pull up. It's a nice truck. It's a nice trailer.
Yep.
And on it is a red Koki S14.
Yeah.
And the first thing I notice are the brakes. It's got Project Moo brakes all the way around. And again, this is like 2006. Like, shit's pretty rare. And T Cox hops out of the truck. He's the only one in the truck, and he's got like this, his voice, dude. His voice is like, I can't. But he's just like, hi guys. And we were just like, who is this fucking joker?
Yeah.
Not even realizing, because my first thought is like, look at this rich showing up with this truck and trailer and all of this shit, and not even realizing that, like, throughout the years he would be such a huge force in my life and Texas drifting in general.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my first impression of him, was like, look, shitty rich kid that just showed up. Which, to be fair, love T Cox, but he was a shitty rich kid.
Oh, there you go. So,
but he was awesome, man.
Yeah.
And then the other one is Harrison.
Yeah.
I first met Harrison when he was 12 years old.
Wow.
At that Austin event that we were talking about earlier.
From the Keep Drifting Fun.
This little kid comes up to me and he's just like, "Hey man, I saw your car on a video on the internet. It's really cool. I like Miata. We drive Miatas at the track too."
Yeah.
And I was just like, "Ah, that's cool, little buddy." You know, I was like, "You want a sticker?" And like, open the glove box.
Yeah.
I like a few of them, and he was just like, "Oh my god, this is amazing!" And like took off,
Yeah.
running. Never realized that years later, dude would be a way better driver than I could ever.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's my two.
Yeah. Yeah, you never know, dude. You never know until like these instances, and then they kind of just bite you in the ass. So then you know better not to like do that stuff. You know you've been around long enough that you can be like, oh well, if I do this, this could happen. So let's not do that. So it just comes with experience, kind of thing. But yeah, dude, I don't know. It's really funny.
Oh, okay. So in the chat, Adolfo is another Lone Star poster child.
Harris, yeah.
Harris, I don't know if I would say he was a poster child. I feel like, dude, there's that old video. They're not old, but older video.
Adolfo and his Miata.
Yeah, when it was like
Losi?
hailing.
Yeah, it was like it was like snowing and shit.
Yeah, I don't know if I would say he's a poster child. Adolfo is always, dude. He's always just been Adolfo. He's just done his own for forever. I think that video was pretty negative towards him. I want to say, like, it was very critical of him and his decisions. Very judgmental.
Yeah, that's what I've heard a lot of people comment on that video about.
So I don't know if I would call him a poster child. Yeah, the SRMB, that's the one we're talking about.
Yeah.
That tan car.
Yeah.
It was yellow and tan. Yeah, it was a bunch of different colors. But yeah, that was,
it never sat right.
Poster child, but I get what you're saying, Harris. Like, he's definitely on a whole nother level in terms of cars and styling, and the way that dude lives his life is something that I can't comprehend.
Yeah, I stopped a long time trying to figure him out. I just
him and I have had a couple good.
That's good.
Just life in general.
Yeah.
But, he's a real good kid. He's young.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, dude, I don't know. It's kind of weird, man. I don't know. So, I don't know. It's really weird to shine light on some things. I mean, we know it's drifting. It could probably happen to everything, but yeah, just like, I don't know, sometimes just good intentions don't ever become good intentions, kind of like the video I did with Losi, or at least tried to do with Losi, right? Like, unfortunately, he shot himself in the foot, or it backfired, or whatever you want to call it, and I don't know, it was, I don't know, but
we don't have to rehash. I didn't watch it actually.
Okay, yeah.
I saw it, and I saw the title. I got the gist of exactly what was going to happen. Yeah. So I didn't watch it, but we don't have to rehash it. But I can gather.
Yeah,
I can gather what happened.
Yeah. Well, it was funny, because like after that video, we shot 2 other videos that probably will never see the light. And before that, whenever I first got the Skyline, we shot a video about my car. Whenever Losi was doing the, like, going to San Antonio and talk to this guy or whatever, there was a video with, I did one and Brad did one the same night with Cy and stuff like that. And, like, that file got, whatever. So out of the 4 videos that I did with Losi, one only came to the light, and, it is what it is, kind of thing. But it's funny.
Here's a question for you.
Okay.
This is 100% a loaded question.
All right, perfect. Let's do it.
Do you have any interest in doing a vlog?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
I think so. I don't think it'll be that entertaining. I probably couldn't pump stuff out as frequently, but the more I do these podcasts and stuff like that, and people like chiming in and saying stuff, if I just get one person to be like, "Hey, dude, I really needed to hear that," or whatever, like that sells me on it. That's why on my Instagram replies, I only do the videos now. I won't post a picture or anything like that because
text and
the text and the whatever, I think it's easier for myself to convey my messages through speech than through writing or action or something like that.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Not the answer
really?
I expected. Yeah,
dude, low-key, I'm a ham for the camera too. Like, I have no problem hopping on the camera and doing whatever. Like, I don't know. It's not natural, but I know like, I don't have shame, but it took me a long time to not get embarrassed about stuff, and now that like I just don't get embarrassed, it's like, oh, okay, well, I'll just, if you need me to do something, I'll do it, whatever. Like, shining example was from the Final Bout video, right? Slim Thug shows up and he wants to interview like one of the Fat Cats or whatever, and I just remember Josh from Fat Cats didn't want to do it because he was shy. I'm like, dude, Josh, like, the only reason Slim Thug's here is because y'all know Les, and Les is here because that. Like, I'm not gonna like, whatever. And they're like, no, like, we're too busy, and I don't want to do it. I was like, all right, fuck it, I'll do it, whatever. So I just like go and hang out with Slim Thug for a little bit in front of camera because he's recording from his vlog or whatever. Like, I have no problem with that stuff. Like, I don't know.
Okay, follow-up question then.
Okay.
If you did start a vlog,
yep,
would you try and make it your living? If the opportunity presented itself to you, would you try and make it your living?
I would give it a shot.
Okay.
I would try to like, you do it as a side thing, whatever, and it builds, if it builds momentum and stuff like that, and you got to a point where if it got to the point where I was making as much money as I am doing what I do now, then yes, I would.
Okay.
Only because, like, when would you ever get a chance to, work for yourself? And, if you love doing that stuff, you're doing what you love. So why not,
I get it. I get that mentality of it too.
Yeah.
I think it was a Donut Media video I was watching the other day or something, but they were talking about like the new age of, they were talking about car magazines.
Yes.
And how like the new age of media for car content is podcasts and videos.
Okay.
And like, so they don't see themselves as like creating like car videos or vlogs. These are basically like the equivalent of what you would read in an article.
Yeah.
And that I totally get and I understand.
Yeah.
Like, that makes sense for them as a company.
No, right. Absolutely.
I think that's just an interesting take on it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was just asking because I think you are an interesting enough know enough people to be able to turn it into a thing.
Yeah.
I just find the world of vlogs just very, very interesting and kind of like you were talking earlier about like the early days.
Yeah.
Kind of because it's core people.
Right.
It's a lot of people kind of on the fringes.
Yeah.
They're kind of interested, but not really interested.
Right.
So
I don't know. I actually started filming stuff. When was it? It was whenever I was living with Harris at the apartment. I was trying to get something to get over my fear of judgment, right? Because, you know, after like crashing the car and stuff like that, and like trying to like have this big campaign of like stylish cars can drive well and yada yada yada, kind of like I felt ashamed because I look like a clown because I was talking a big game and obviously I couldn't back it up. So whenever I got the car repainted and stuff like that, I started vlogging. Like I have a like I don't know, a couple hours of me like videoing myself. Like, oh yeah, like I was gonna go get the car. Like I was getting the car. Like this is my game plan for today. Like yada yada yada. I filmed myself in the garage. I was like
Your audio cut out. It's still out.
Mic check, mic check. Hello, am I back? All right. So anyways, I had like this catalog of video and stuff that I was gonna do it, but like watching it. Hi, Kelly. After watching it, it was tough for me to get over. The weirdest thing is like hearing yourself, right? Because your voice, until you hear yourself on video, is completely different, and it like freaked me out, kind of thing. So, hi. But now with like the Instagram stories and stuff like that, I'm totally okay with it, and doing the podcast or like whatever, no big deal. So, I don't know. I tried it, but I never like committed to it.
They're shutting you out in the chat. Yeah, so I get that. When I was in high school and I was doing film and video stuff,
yeah,
every time we had to watch our own creations, like I never wanted to watch it.
No, I know, not at all. Like it's so cringy to me. Like just anybody, like even some stuff I'll see on TV and I literally have to turn away because it's so cringy to me. And that was the big thing. I don't know.
I don't know, man. I think vlogs can be cool.
Yeah.
I've had this long time belief that like if you didn't start one in say 2014,
yep,
you're not gonna make it now.
Nope.
Like it's too late. You missed the boat. Which isn't 100% true.
No.
But there's a lot of truth to it.
Yeah.
But like, do you watch the Auto Factory Realize?
Yeah, I watch those guys' stuff.
Okay, so Teddy is like trained in
videography.
Videography. Like that's his big job.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, he works. Yeah, he works.
And
for
it
that stuff.
shows in his videos, like the establishing shot, the music, the titles, like
the editing, the whole thing. Yep.
Right. And if I'm gonna sit down and watch these videos, I want that. And maybe it's because I'm older and that's what I care about, but I don't want to see some dude that just like shot these drag drop. Just put them on the timeline. It's like, there we go. Wait for my money to roll in.
Yeah. No. Yeah, but see, and that's the thing of like chasing perfection and trying to put out like the best content you can. Like that's one thing I fought with too, because with the podcast, like you see other people's podcasts, like they're they got way better editing and yada yada yada. But I got to the point where I'm like, I'm not putting anything out. Like, it's stopping me from doing things, And so I just got to the point I was like, well, I'll just do it. I do it because I want to like have these conversations with my friends and just like Drama just said, like as time goes on, you get better and better. So, it doesn't matter where you start; it's where you end.
I agree. I think this is a great medium for you. I would love to see you progress this and like get it out on Spotify and on to other podcast platforms.
Yeah.
I mean, as you're a very easy person to talk to as like an
right. Cool.
You've got good questions. I don't know, man. I think that this is a great platform for you to jump off of.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, like, you never know. Like, I don't know. I just I enjoy it a lot, and like this last couple months with Knuckle Up planning and stuff like that. Like, dude, I'm really, really enjoying it, and I don't know if it's me just getting older and like enjoying the work or whatever, or it's just a natural passion now. But yeah, dude, I don't know. I'm just gonna keep at it, and if nothing ever comes of it, that's perfectly fine. If something comes of it, fantastic. Whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I just like talking too. That's one thing. I can just sit here and ramble with people all day. So
same. I mean, that's my whole job.
Yeah,
is
teaching kids, talking to them,
talking.
Learning them something. So yeah, I mean, it's the same thing, right? I mean, like, I don't know, but I appreciate the compliment, man. It means a lot, So
you're very welcome.
Nice question, by the way. That was really good.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
Do you? I don't know what else you want.
All right, so let's see.
Do you want to answer some questions?
Oh yeah, we can do that. Let's do that. Hold on, let me see.
Okay.
Let me.
I'm gonna go pee again.
All right, go pee. All right, let me load this stuff up. All right.
Mute my.
Okay, that's fine. Let's see. Bro, Harris is sending me. He knows I'm in the podcast, and Harris is sending me fucking Blitz 03s, 17x8 plus 38 for $3,400. Jesus Christ. All right, let me see. I guess I need to go to my story kind of thing. Boom. Nope, I need to go here. I need to go history. Kayla and Kelly podcast. Oh man, they would get some dirt on us, huh, boys? Let's see. Archive. Club Loose and Knuckle Up mashup this year. Man, that'd be. I don't know. It would be cool, but I don't know. Dude, where is this fucking... Oh, it's because I answered a bunch of stuff the night before. Duh, stupid. Aha, I got him. I got the questions. It said 1 hour ago, Harris. Fuck off. Let's see. Yeah, imperfect action. Yeah, dude, see? Yeah. You learn as time... Yep. I hate it. But now is the past and the future. Yeah, dude. So that's where you just gotta jump on it. Like, I'm tired of like trying to make it perfect before you like put the perfect product out. Because I wasted so much time. And if I would have done this like years ago and not cared what people think and stuff like that, who knows where it would have been. But now, I guess I'm starting to realize that I think I'm just a late bloomer. So, it is what it is. I start now. Oh, nice, Kev. Why'd you take apart your coilover today? Tell us why. Oh, wow. Danny did it too. Synced up. How'd it go? What was your reason, Danny? Oh, replacing a top hat. Interesting. Hello. All right. Let's see. Okay. Why did you choose the Mustang, and what do you like about it? Because that's pretty much like covers like all that stuff.
Yeah, that's a lot of the questions, I feel like.
Yeah.
So, um, when we already covered the S13's
Right,
demise.
right, demise, right.
So I love four-cylinder turbo motors and
Yep.
the way that they drive, and I wanted something newer that I could drive regularly and not have to do as much maintenance
Right.
to. I was so sick of just constantly working on the car
Yep.
because it's always fun modifying the car, but it's never fun fixing it.
Right. It's fun until it doesn't work.
Right.
Right.
So I wanted something newer, and so my list was kind of short of the vehicles that were available.
Yep.
I drove my first choice was an F.
Yep.
I love the way those things look, and I went and drove one, test drove one, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But when like I remember coming out of a corner on like, it kicked out and it was really easy to control, and then I put my foot down and it felt like a KA S chassis.
That's the what do they call it? The torque. They had some issue, right? Where like at a certain RPM they just like fall flat and they pick back up.
Yeah,
I forgot what that was.
but like it felt great, but like when I put my foot down, I was after driving a 400 horsepower SR,
Yeah.
it didn't feel like it was going anywhere.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, this is fun, but not really what I think. And so I drove 370 and 350.
Yeah.
And the 370 felt really good, but the style of it just wasn't really.
Yeah.
But I remembered when the S550 came out, seeing pictures of it.
Yep.
Man, like those cars look really cool for a Mustang, and I've never liked Mustangs, but I was like, those cars look really cool. And I remember when the EcoBoost motor first came, before the S550 came out, I was like, man, that would be really cool to have one of these.
Yeah.
Mustang, and then here it was. So I went and test drove one, and the first one I test drove before I left the lot, like I turned traction control completely off and left the lot, and it felt like, to me, it felt like an SR car.
Yeah.
It's heavier, obviously,
right.
but power to weight ratio, it felt very similar.
Yep.
I really enjoyed it. And so I was like, all right, well, that's what I want. Now I just need to find
the right one.
The car that I want. And I had already parted out the S13.
Yep.
And like I sold my Tahoe, I think. And then by that Thursday, my wife was like, all right, well, here's like
yeah.
And we went and looked, and the one that I ended up getting, I didn't even know that they came in that color that I ended up buying. And when I saw that color, I was like, oh.
Yeah, that's pretty unique.
Color.
Yeah.
Like this is that color that I've always wanted on my S13. So yeah, that was
easy
the one. So yeah, it's that overall driving feel.
Yep.
Like the way that the car feels when you take off and drive it on the street, not on the track, is what really sold me on the car.
Yeah.
And then just from there, it just turned into like modifying the way that I wanted it to work. But it was, they're super cool cars.
Yeah. I've come to like them, They're cool.
Kev says, I've driven 5.0 before. Encountering steering is tricky. So it is. And a lot of people blame it on it's the cannot explain to you how many people I've tried to
Yeah.
tell this to on Instagram.
Okay.
It's the suspension geometry in
Okay.
the front. So, to quote Russell Walker
Yep.
when he was building the front suspension for me,
Yep.
they copy pasted BMW and then
Hold on, you broke up. They
They-
copy pasted BMW.
checked the cheap out box.
Okay.
So it's a dual pivot suspension.
Okay.
So the knuckle pivots on 2 points. So it's really, really good for like road racing.
Yeah.
Not so great for drifting.
Okay.
But you've got 2 options. There's Justin Pollock makes an angle kit for
Okay.
that converts it to a single pivot steering,
Yep.
just like an S chassis or an R chassis. Or there's what I have, the SPL suspension with cut knuckles.
Yep.
And all of that just gets rid of the rubber bushings, and it's all spherical.
Yeah.
That's a more streetable option,
Mm-hmm.
but it still gives you way better feedback, way more like it doesn't give you self steer. It's
Right.
No car is going to drive like a
That's
240.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
Right.
But like when that car is pretty far towards lock, I can just give it a little toss of the wheel and
Yeah.
it will do the thing that I want.
Right. Right.
So they are tricky. But it's a different chassis. Like,
No, yeah, absolutely.
if you want a car to drive like a 240,
Yeah.
if you
build
want a
it
car to
to
drive like a Miata, buy a Miata.
Yep.
But you can't buy a chassis and then expect it to drive like this other thing.
Right. Right. It'll drive just like its own thing.
It's the electric rack paired with the liking. Yeah, there. I have SPL tension rods on there, and I've got the caster
Hold on, you broke up. You have the caster what?
maxed out about
Okay.
as much as I can go
Okay.
with the front bumper
Gotcha.
where it sits.
Yep.
I don't have any more room than that, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It's been fun trying to figure out the car
Yeah.
work.
So what's your favorite thing about it? Just the streetability, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, just hop in and go.
Yeah, hop in and go, and then again, here we go. Here's the aura. Just when I sit in that car, it doesn't feel like I'm in a muscle car.
Yeah.
When I drive that car, it doesn't feel like a muscle car. It feels like what I'm familiar with. It
Okay.
feels like a Japanese sports car.
Yeah.
So I had a conversation with Hector probably years ago at this point, but I asked him, I was like, look, man, if Nissan
Yes, I remember
literally
this.
made this exact looked the same options,
Yep.
the exact same car, but instead of having a Mustang badge on it, Nissan badge on
Yep.
it, and this was the new Sylvia.
Yep.
Would you buy it?
Yeah.
And he was like, oh yeah, hands down.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, at that point, you know, where's the apprehension? Like, what's the issue?
Yep, exactly. Yeah, and I don't know. I forgot which podcast I talked about this, but it's like if you don't if you can't comprehend how things are changing, then you're just going to be like forgotten, and people are going to pass, like things will proceed on, but we have to understand like the new Mustangs and the new Nissans and stuff like that. Those are the chassis that if we want to continue this hobby, those are going to be the vehicles of choice.
And don't get me wrong, I I also 1955 Thunderbird. Like
Yeah.
I love cars of all different eras,
Sure.
but I would never try and make that car
Right.
do.
Right.
And I've thought about this a lot too. Is like the future of grassroots drifting. If if car companies want to keep making cars that are automatic,
Yep.
like those aren't going to be the cars that are going to be used because you have to have a clutch.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
And if it comes down to, this is the last generation of driftable cars. I don't know.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, like, we could go down this rabbit hole, but like, California is not gonna allow, or no, GM. I'm sorry, GM is not making any more petroleum-based vehicles after 2030 or something like that, right? Or 2035, right? They're all going all electric, stuff like that, right? So if GM's doing that, other brands are going to follow suit. So, eventually, do we start drifting electric cars, but there's no clutch? But then, like, what do you do? But then the price of fuel is going to go up, and then you can't afford to go drifting and stuff like that. So, how much longer do we actually have of drifting?
Okay.
Honestly, right?
So here's to that point. Somebody in Mr. Ajax said electric drifting. Like, I think it's electric cars for drifting would be pretty rad because you've got instant torque right away.
Yeah.
Not in the traditional sense of drifting, but
right.
They would work well.
Right.
But to me, the clutch is such an integral part to drifting.
Yeah.
Like that clutch should be used as a secondary throttle.
Yeah.
You're using that clutch to control your wheel. And again, that's an old school Japanese doing it. But if that is the course that things go, maybe say props to like I don't like the new Ford Mach-E, but that thing that they made, that video that they put out with
I haven't seen it now.
It's Von Gittin driving the Ford Mach-E R, and just straight ripping this thing.
Yeah.
It's very clearly possible.
Sure.
But it's going to take a different level of modification.
Yep.
That we're not used to.
Nope, not at all.
And if you think about the old dudes that are just like, if it doesn't have a carb, that ain't a real.
Yep.
Like, well, that's not the way it is. You just don't know how you're not comfortable or familiar.
You're not evolving.
Right, with newer cars. So maybe it's, a fact of evolving and moving with the times. But to answer the original question, I don't ever go.
Yeah.
Because cars are so ingrained in American.
Yeah.
Car culture is such a big thing here in America that I don't think we will ever actually get away from classic cars.
Yeah.
And if classic cars are all that's drifting, well then that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's like a some scary thing that it's going to disappear.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see it in the foreseeable future, but maybe whenever we are done driving and stuff like that, it'll probably start fading away, as progression, but you just gotta enjoy it, how it is. Let's see. What swap, if any, would you put into your Mustang?
Oh, like if the EcoBoost blew up?
Yeah.
And I just could do anything.
Yeah, just no, but any budget, whatever. Just put it whatever you want in it.
Damn, that's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel like easy mode, like Jay-Z, because they just work on anything and
Sure.
they just,
Yeah. They get the job done.
yeah, they constantly work. That would be cool, but I think if I could pick anything, oh, okay, a Ford Barramotor.
Okay, that's cool.
The Barramotor from
Yep.
Australia.
Yep.
Those things are heavy. They're
Yeah.
stupid heavy, but like,
It's a Ford JZ.
yeah, damn, they're cool.
Yeah,
They make
it's
a
cool.
lot of power.
Yeah, and it's Ford, so that's pretty cool.
But I don't know. I honestly, if it blew up, I would just like a built EcoBoost, just because I think it's the way that I was about SRs before
Yeah.
I'm totally done with them. I kind of feel the same way about them.
Yeah.
They're easy power, and they're super responsive.
Yeah,
So,
there you go. Someone said, I asked a while back if he regrets selling the S13 and getting a new chassis. He said he didn't. But if he was starting to regret it now, I'm personally am starting to regret my decision.
No, I don't regret it. I think the only reason I don't regret it is good times and good memories with
Yeah.
my S13.
Yeah.
If I only had it for like a year or something
Right.
taken away from me, then maybe I would have some regrets. But because I felt like I put so much time, effort,
Yep.
got so much enjoyment out of the car,
Yeah.
I think for that time in my life, during my 20s, I think I got what I wanted
Yep.
out of that car.
Okay.
And now I'm okay with moving on.
There you go. Ask him about Miatas and why he crossed Roadster Drift.
Man. Okay, so you're...
What? You're breaking up.
Sorry, you're homies with all the Chicago dudes. You know,
Yeah.
Rob?
Rob. Yep, sure do.
Okay, so Rob started Roadster Drift,
Yes.
and this was before I was on Zip.
Okay.
It was a lot of dudes on Roadster vouched for me to get onto Ziptide.
Okay.
Roadster Drift was the scummiest place I've ever been on.
Is it worse? Is it worse than what's the RX-7 FD forum? I forgot. But I've always heard that the RX-7 one was pretty fucking bad too.
Dude, it was. Yeah,
It's a Mazda thing.
maybe so, but like dude, it was so bad.
Yeah.
It was really fun. I wish that website was still around to go back to.
Yeah.
Because the forums were a gold mine.
Yeah.
But I also met a lot of really rad people on there, and like with the Miata, like how suspension actually works.
Yeah.
Because it's all Miata dorks.
Yep.
But just less so from like autocross side. They're interested in drifting. But yeah, I learned a lot of really good technical information, but it was not a place you visited on a public computer.
Good to know. All right, let's see. We kind of touched on everything. Someone said, well, I don't know if you want to disclose this, but will Club Loose be doing Masters of Mayhem in 2021?
Okay, so we had a plan for a new version of Masters.
Yep.
That we didn't get to do.
Okay.
So, if anybody is not familiar with Masters of Mayhem, it's super cool. It's like Thrasher King of the World.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a team, you've got a book, you've got challenges. We had a really good time with it the first year. want to do it again, but I want to wait until we don't have restrictions. Like
Yeah.
I don't want some sort of COVID restriction.
Right.
Us creating challenges, and because some of the challenges we come up with are like pretty not safe for work, to say the least.
Sure.
So I want to make sure that everybody can stay safe and healthy, but we can do some ridiculous shit.
Yeah.
So probably not this year.
Yeah.
But it's definitely something that we want to come back to.
Sure.
We definitely want to come back to it.
Let's see. We said we talked about your connections with Club Loose on the East Coast, your favorite thing about the car, why you chose a Mustang. Jay wanted to discuss where drifting currently is in Texas. We kind of touched that.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about Adolfo. He said, "Do you love me?" I said, "Yeah." You know, we talked about that. Let's see. Your vegan powers.
Oh, I'm not vegan. So for probably.
What? You broke up? What?
Dude, I can't quit cheese.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
Dude, I can't.
Cheese is sick. I love it.
But me and my wife were vegetarian for probably a few years.
Oh, cool.
So because of that, we ate a lot of vegan stuff too. But it was cool. I mean, I learned. It taught me how to like cook, like actually cook.
Yeah. You have to get real creative.
Like, how to use, like real spices and oils, and like not just like me throw this burger on and like that's good enough. Like it, taught me how to like make food actually taste good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think right before my son was born, I started eating chicken and fish again. So I eat chicken and fish. I still don't eat beef or pork.
Yeah.
I can't bring myself to do that, but
yeah. Well, I mean, you probably like, I don't know, don't eat as much, you know.
But it's a bummer because like real bad craving for barbecue.
Yeah.
Brisket so bad.
Right.
Then I think about a cow and I'm like, man.
Yeah, I understand. How do you balance being a teacher and doing, all the Club Loose stuff?
I don't.
And being a dad on top of that now.
Yeah, I don't. Best answer is there is no way that I could do all of this by myself.
Right.
My wife is a huge help, obviously, but also like the community that we've created with Club Loose.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody's down to help always. Yeah. And like especially, dude, Danny, I cannot give enough shout outs to Danny. Yeah. He makes me feel bad because I feel like because Danny is such a workhorse, dude. Like Danny does so much shit. Straight up answer, I don't. Like I don't like I try and be a good teacher. I try and be a good dad.
Yep.
Do what I can for Club Loose. But it's really like it's everybody else, man. Yeah. Everybody else that it's a whole team effort, and I can't take any credit for myself.
Yep. I understand. That's good. That's all I had. What kind of questions did you get? Because we kind of, man, dude, it's so funny because whenever I do the questionnaire thing, the stuff that people ask about or like, whatever is stuff that like I don't like try to steer the conversation to, it just like naturally happens. So I don't know if people are just like so in tune with like what I'm already going to talk about or what. I don't know. It's weird.
Maybe it is. Maybe it's like your circle. They follow you already.
Yeah, maybe it's just
Maybe
it is.
so. I don't know. I the I got pretty much the exact same like topic.
Yeah,
Probably from the same people.
yeah,
Because I think a lot of the people that follow.
yeah. It just like crosses over, right? Yeah, it's all the same people, so we're just I don't know.
What about chat? Danny says, right? Yeah, that's Danny. What's the future of drifting look like? Dude, I don't know. You're the dream maker.
Yeah, dude, Danny, you should know. I don't know, dude. I think it's becoming more. What's the word? It's becoming more fractured, but that's not a very good
You
word.
think?
Not that people are separating from each other, but there's going to be a lot of different niches of types of drifting, right? Um, and yeah, I don't know.
Okay. So I I understand what you're saying, kind of.
Yeah, I just didn't phrase it right.
Again, let's go back to the so you didn't grow up skateboarding, right?
I did. I was never very good. I was too tall, so I never had coordination. So I gave up.
Wait, how tall are you?
6'6". And I make that excuse, but then Julian's taller than me, can kickflip and skateboard and all that stuff. But he's from California, all right. So
I'm just thinking like Andrew Reynolds.
Andrew Reynolds is tall, but
He's
no,
the
like
tall.
I grew up like my first board was a Birdhouse board. It was the Bucky Lassick monkey board. Like I wanted that. I had Grind King trucks, zero wheels. Like like it was skateboarding for there. But
That's
I was never good, so but I still followed it.
Like the drifting question, like how did you?
What? How'd I what?
What was your first? The drifting question, like
Yeah.
how'd you get into it?
Yeah.
For skateboarding, it's like what was your first setup? That's all.
Yeah. I still have it. I still have it all.
Okay, so anyway, to go back to skateboarding, Danny said it's where skateboarding was 10 years ago. I was 20 years ago.
Okay.
Skateboarding in say the 2000
Yeah.
era, you had this big divide.
Okay.
Where you were either, because this is when I first got into it, you were in skateboarding. They referred to it. You were Hesh or Fresh.
Okay.
And you were, so it was either like rock and roll or hip hop. Like
okay. Yep. Absolutely.
And I think where drifting is right now, you are in one of those two. You're in one of those two sides.
Yeah.
So to speak. Like
yep.
If you're in, you're either it's form over function or function over form.
True.
And,
yeah.
Just with skateboarding, it was referred to, Hesh or Fresh, but it's the same mentality with drifting. However, I think drifting is growing at such a skateboarding.
Yeah.
Oh, which Danny said in chat, it's growing faster. Yeah, it totally is growing faster. So I think that you're going to see that divide where in skateboarding, it took probably 10 years for that divide to close.
Yeah.
In drifting, you're going to see it close a lot faster.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. And that it's a good analogy. I think we shouldn't steer away from the skateboard analogy stuff,
No, I agree. I think there's a lot of analogies to it. I just feel like I've heard it be compared for so many years that it's become cliche.
Yeah. I get it, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, the vast majority, this was the way it's been since I've been. You ask somebody what they did before they were into drifting,
Yeah.
it was probably skateboarding or BMX.
Yeah. Or like it was some kind of extreme sports in the like from like the turn of the century kind of thing, you know? Like that whole thing.
Or tennis.
No, I don't know about that. It was some kind of like action sport, and then they got into cars, and then the cars
Yeah,
was just like that, you know.
100%.
So I don't know. I think it's really all the solo stream. Yeah, I mean like, but I don't know. The solo thing is you can definitely tell that, but um I don't know. I guess that kind of makes sense, but like there is a lot of individuals in drifting, but then like you have like people that are on teams, you know, and like
That's where, yeah, that's where I think the similarities end.
yeah,
Is where, let's say you talk about tandem drift.
yeah,
There's no similarity
yeah, right.
with that. Like, that's where you get more into like the ice skating sort of thing, and
I was hoping you would say that.
that's not cool.
What?
Like, I'm sorry if there's like ice
Okay.
skaters out there, but like, dude, throwing yourself down a 20 stair handrail is way cooler than doing a triple.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But like I always like using that. Like, um, I don't know who I was telling before, but like the style of driving or drifting that I like isn't just driving. It's the way the car looks. It's the way the car sounds. It's the way the car is driven. It's the whole package, right? And the only thing I can, and like with drifting, you're not trying to set a fast time. You're judged on, how it looks and how it acts and stuff like that. So drifting is just like the figure skating of motorsports.
Yes,
I mean,
and I mean, I think that, well, dude, when I was first getting into it, like that was how I had to describe it.
yeah,
Like uncle, like
yeah,
that was the only way that they would understand. So
right,
I'm like, well, it's like it's a style thing, and they're like, oh, okay, I get it.
yeah,
And
yeah. It's just a way of expressing yourself. Now people express their way by the way they drive or whatever. It's just people kind of figured out um, different niches. That's all.
outright, I don't know who you are, but like, yeah, you're right. It's
Yeah,
parking garages and
yep,
fighting yakuza, and
yeah. And Bow Wow.
that's it, man.
That's it.
That's all it is.
Living the dream.
Oh, it's Jerry.
Oh, hi Jerry. That's funny. Yeah, I don't know, dude. It's weird. I don't know. I don't know. I like the skateboard analogies. I guess I don't hear it a lot, but I'm sure you do. But it makes sense in my brain.
Well, it totally makes sense in my brain too. I think that's one of the things that makes drifting so special is that it's all these different analogies.
Mm-hmm.
Can't be one thing.
Right.
Like, yes, it is a little ice skating, and
Yep.
it also is a little skateboarding,
Yep.
and it also is a little like traditional racing. Like,
Yeah.
it's got all
Absolutely.
of these things, and that's what makes it fun.
Yeah.
That's what
It makes it
cool.
unique. Yeah. It makes it something that can't be replicated. Honestly. I don't know. What else you got?
I don't know, man.
You have really good questions, dude. I feel like, man, it's good. Usually, no one like asks me a question, so I'm like, I try to like steer away. But you've got some real
That's
bangers.
that's
What else is cool, Kevin? Oh, drifting. Okay. Whatever.
that's a shout out to my friend Toph, who he was part of Sad Summer. He has nothing to
Yeah.
but has a lot to do with like punk rock scene, and just like I've known the dude since forever. But
Yeah.
something that he taught me. Ask, like, if you're having a conversation with someone,
Yeah.
talk to them about themselves,
Yep.
because that's how you know, you get to know somebody, but also, like, keep going, and makes for a way more meaningful conversation. So
Right.
it's something I've been working on.
Yeah.
It's like not making it about me, but
yeah.
talking to other people.
Yeah, dude. It's a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't get
Hold
the.
up. Hector just said Stone Cold versus Cold Stone.
Oh yeah, he always says that shit.
I know he does.
He's so
but
funny.
I told him, I promised him I would answer this question.
Oh, okay.
So, I tried to ask him for clarification, and
Yeah.
I said, is this Stone Cold the wrestler versus Cold Stone Creamery the ice?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Like, which one do I prefer? And he said, no, it's two wrestlers, but one is Stone Cold Steve Austin. The other one is Cold Stone, another wrestler.
Okay.
And I don't think it really went any further.
Oh, beautiful. So it ended.
So I'm gonna have to go ahead and go with Stone Cold.
Yeah. Easy. That's the easy choice. Do you think Oliver will be getting into drifting or what?
I don't know, man. I'm not gonna push him to do anything.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Kelly and I have already talked about when he turns 5 for his 5th birthday, he can choose if he wants a dirt bike or a go-kart.
Oh, cool.
And like if he like a real cart, like not
right.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
But if he picks one, like we're gonna go.
Yeah.
Like him and I will go, because there's multiple karting tracks around here that are pretty good. So if that's what he wants to do, we'll go do that. A dirt bike, we'll go do that. But yeah, that's my whole thing. Like, I don't know, he can pick, and then if
just let him do his own thing.
From that, if he wants to move on to skateboarding or choir or I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I figured.
That's cool with me.
That was the who is it to you to force your kid to do whatever? I get it. If you could choose to build another Japanese car, what would it be?
For drifting or just to?
I would say at this point, just whatever. Doesn't have to be just
to
drifting.
drive around.
Yeah.
Any car, no budget. Probably a Hakosuka Skyline.
There you go.
It's timeless.
Yep.
It's super cool. Like, yeah, I think that would be it.
That'd be cool. That's a good choice.
More attainable would be like a 240Z, but if it was like no budget, it would be a Skyline.
Sick. All right, that's all the questions. I thought there's another question.
Good man. If you had 100K, what car would you buy tomorrow with?
I'd buy GameStop stocks. I'm just kidding.
GSE, baby.
To the moon.
Dude, I don't know. I'm not a sucker, dude. I don't buy things at fucking sticker price.
Yeah, I'm a cheapskate.
I don't know, man. 100K.
I don't know what would get me a 100K.
Dude, how much is an LFA?
Probably something like that. You know what I really like? I like those LC 500s.
Yeah, those are rad. Oh, it has to be used on a new car. How much is an RC?
Oof. How much is those new Corvettes?
Oh, yeah. C8 Vet? That'd be tight.
I love those things. Those things are sick.
RCF RCF would be cool, or C8 Vet. Dude, I don't know, man. I don't have enough money to spend 100.
Yeah, dude. I don't know.
I've never even priced that out.
Yeah, me neither. I never really window shop. So, what's your favorite?
LFA is LFA is 500K.
Damn.
Whew. All right, adios to that.
Yeah, no shit. C8 it is, baby. Let's go.
Yeah.
What's
See,
your?
it's one of the best, dude. Bang for buck right now. Like if you're buying a brand,
Yeah.
a pro tip, kids never buy a brand new car.
Yeah.
But if you are buying a brand new car, what did you think of Last of Us 2? Man, it was a great game, but not a fun.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that game was. It's not because it wasn't fun, like gameplay wise,
Yeah.
because of content wise.
Yeah.
It was one of the best games of the last generation.
Yeah.
But I don't. It's definitely not for everybody.
Right.
But it was great, and I want to play through it again.
Yeah.
Just because it was the story is so good.
That's good. What's your favorite game of all time? Is it Metal Gear?
That's a hard question. Oh man.
Huh?
Final Fantasy VII.
Ooh, classic. Great choice.
Yeah. It doesn't hold up super well.
Yeah.
But
I tried playing it recently again, and I couldn't. I was like, no, this ain't it.
The story is so good.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, the story is so good. So I think Final Fantasy VII. This probably favorite game of this generation though. I think this generation of consoles, like PS4 and Xbox One, like has been probably the best generation of consoles in like ever.
Yeah, it's been fantastic.
If you own a PS4 and you haven't played
played Death Stranding.
Yeah, that game is absolutely amazing.
That's what I've heard.
But it's a long haul game. Like,
yep.
You got to put in the work, but it's worth it in the end.
You're a PlayStation guy, right? Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
My favorite game of all time, Halo 2.
Ooh.
Hands down. Not just the gameplay, but like that time period on Xbox Live.
The early days of Xbox Live.
I will never forget those days. Like, you know, it was literally the best online experience ever. Hands down. Halo 2 BR's on lockout for 12 hours on, you know, like easy.
But that was also like the first time that like, consoles were able to act like Xbox Live pioneered.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I had Xboxes up through this most recent one is the only one I haven't had. So I've played dude, I loved Halo 3. I thought Halo 3 was
dude, dude, Halo franchise is like God, dude. Like if I really sit there and talk about it, dude, I'll start crying about shit because I get so emotional about reminiscing and shit like that. Like,
have you played the Mass Effect series?
I have not.
Okay, so Mass Effect, a fantastic game.
They're coming back out with it. They're redoing them all.
Yes, and I highly recommend going back.
I'm going to go back and play them after this.
The story's fantastic.
Yep.
But when I played through, because I came late to the party on those. When I played through Mass Effect, I skipped one because the gameplay was just like I couldn't.
Yeah.
But it reminded me a lot of the feeling that I got from when I was younger and playing Halo. Like this huge universe and like all these characters.
It's a space drama.
Yeah. But in Halo, it was like you were filling it in with your imagination and
sure.
if you read them or like but in Mass Effect, like it's all
Right.
I
It's
mean,
all
there's
there.
more stuff
Right.
to
It's
explore,
more
but it's all
storytelling.
really
Right.
contained there within the game. It's really cool.
Yeah, dude.
If
Absolutely.
you
Yeah.
like,
There's been a lot of because dude, when I like from like 04 or whatever to 2011, I only played Halo. Halo 2, 3, Reach. That was it. That's all I played. So I missed a bunch of stuff. And now that it's becoming like they're remastering a bunch of stuff. Now I'm gonna be able to come back and play it and do stuff like that. I think my game of last generation was Red Dead Redemption 2. That like
also,
that was a fantastic story. I never played Red Dead Revolver, but I'm glad that Red Dead Redemption, or I never played that or Red Dead Redemption, but I'm glad Red Dead Redemption 2 was a precursor to the first one, so I could go back and play the next one,
yeah,
but that story was fantastic.
yeah, the way they had that set up where it was like played the prologue of it,
Yeah,
like tied into the first one. It was
yeah,
super cool for people to
dude,
play
that
the first
is so good, and like,
one. But even
yeah,
if you didn't, the way that it was written, it still worked out. It was
yeah,
super cool.
that's a great game.
I think for the same reasons I loved Red Dead 2,
Yeah,
were a lot of the same reasons um, Death Stranding. Like
yeah,
you've got this huge open world, and it's like pretty menacing and awful.
yeah,
But it's two very different ways of tackling
right,
them.
yeah. Yeah, dude, I don't know. Um dude, I used to be the biggest Bungie fanboy. So, Destiny is like I always go back to that game a lot. Destiny 2. Um did you get a chance to play the Cyberpunk?
Okay, so I started it.
Yeah.
Um, I was super hyped on it for years.
Yep.
Kelly bought it for me.
Yep.
She pre-ordered it for me like a while ago.
Yeah.
Picked it up on launch day, installed it for me, and then I played it, and I tried to go in with like an open mind
Yep.
and not think about anything else that I had read about or the game, and I played probably the first 8 hours of it,
Yeah.
and I really enjoyed the first 8 hours. It was really fun. The world was cool,
Yeah.
and then, but the technical issues were too
Right.
to
Yeah,
deal with.
they're too vast. Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I can tell this is going to be a good game,
Yep.
but I'm going to put it off to the side
Yep.
until it's where it needs to be.
Yeah.
So it's still in the case. I never played more than 7 or 8 hours of it. I went
Yeah.
to Tsushima and then played, I don't know, I've played like 3 other games since then. I'm playing
Right.
Yakuza 0 now, and it's like
Sick.
I'm working through these other games,
Yeah. Yep.
and then I'll get to it when it's ready. Because even if development had taken another 2 years,
Right. Yeah. I mean,
I'm already old, man. Like that's fine. I'll wait another.
yeah, it was what it is, Yeah. No, I wanted to play, but man, go back to Halo. I had been at every Halo release since Halo 3. And the Master Chief collection came out. I was like, perfect. I can go back and play Halo 2 for the first time. Like finally, like Halo 2, we were at like the conference championships in college, and it was like the Saturday night before like the finals, and they were shutting down the Halo 2 servers, and I had brought my Xbox to Georgia so that I could be online when the fucking servers went down for Halo 2. Like that's how dedicated I was. Like in the midst of us, because it was our freshman year, and we won the championship for tennis for the conference. But like in the middle of this like conference championship, I was like up till like 11 o'clock trying to play Halo 2 for the very last time because I didn't think it'd ever come back. So Master Chief Collection comes out where they re-release Halo 2 and the servers and all that stuff. and it was a fucking flop. Like I took the day off work, downloaded it, got ready to play. Servers, nothing worked, and ever since then I got burnt. So I never do day one stuff anymore. So
Yeah.
whenever Cyberpunk came out, I was like, all right, let me see how it goes. I heard there's some performance issues, yada yada yada, and yeah, I was like, I'm just gonna wait till they patch the stuff, get it ready, and then I'll play it.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have gotten it in day one.
Yeah.
You know, it was a gift. So
No, absolutely.
you know, who am I to turn it down? And I'd still, I mean, I can tell that if and when it's optimized, it's
Yep.
going to be super awesome.
Yeah.
I've got some friends that have played it on PC, on like optimized PCs, and
Mhm.
like they had a great time with it. It's a
Yeah.
great game. It's just, I think it was too much for what they were trying to
Yep.
achieve with
I
this
agree.
cross-platform stuff. Yeah, man, the video games are cool.
Dude, I love video games, man. I'm trying to take a break. I took a break. I haven't played. I didn't play all of January. I'm trying not to play until season opener, and then once season opener's over, then I can like kind of relax. But
Do you do you play mostly multiplayer online stuff?
I do.
Okay, see that's the. I think that's the difference. Is like, it, when you play multiplayer online stuff, I feel
You feel what?
when you play multiplayer online stuff, you get
You keep on breaking up. God damn it.
my bad.
It's okay.
When you play multiplayer online stuff, you get
Yeah.
how long you've been playing.
Right.
And like I just play single player games mostly.
No. Yeah.
'Cause
No.
I just want
Absolutely.
to play a game for the story and
Right.
enjoy the story, and I love like 80-hour long games
Yeah.
where I'm just enveloped in the story the whole time.
Yeah.
But then my friends make fun of me because they're like, "You don't ever play games with us," and I'm like, "Well, that's
Well, it's like reading a book.
yeah."
You know, you're there for the story, and like that's just how it is. You know, no, I the only reason I play multiplayer games is because I love the interaction with people. You know, like I'm there to spend time with people that like I don't get to maybe see or talk to that often, or you might come across some like crazy people that whatever. Like I have friends that I met, God, probably 15 years ago now, and like we met playing Halo 2, and it's just
Yeah.
like I don't know, it's cool. But I do love single player games, like
And I always just saw games as like you said, like a novel.
Yeah.
It's it's an escape. It's something that I do to relax. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with either way of.
No, there's not, but yeah, because whenever I first started playing games, before they had online and stuff like that, like I was super into JRPGs, like Final Fantasy 7, 9, 10. What else did we used to play?
Dude, 10 made me cry when I was like 15.
Dude, yeah, I think everyone did. Everyone cried when Titus left. It's just like, because you're so emotionally attached. You like just played like 50 hours on this game, and
that game might be that one that is like the dragon that you're chasing. Like that's the one that I want that same feeling. Like
yeah,
how can I
yeah, and dude, I recently played 10 again, and it holds up, dude. It holds up really well.
I played the remaster recently. It does.
Yep, it does. I played like Kingdom Hearts. I was big into Kingdom Hearts back in the day.
Yo, if you used to like JRPG, but not so, have you played Persona 5?
I have not played Persona 5.
Okay. It might be a thing that you.
Yeah, I heard it's good.
Check it out. It's super good.
Yeah.
Dude, I sunk like 120.
Wow. Sick.
And then I want to get there's the Royal Edition, which adds
Yeah.
more shit. I want to play
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I don't know where I'm going to find the time to do it, but
Right.
you know,
I think the
that's a really good modern JRPG.
okay. The last one that I want to say that I played was probably Final Fantasy 15. That was really good. Me and Harris played it at the exact same time because there's no multiplayer, but we like, or maybe there is, or something like that. Yeah, but like we wound up playing it at like the same pace and like just was like in party chat and just like talked to each other and like played the whole like story, and that was a really good game too. Fallouts, I like playing the Fallout games. Those are good. Yeah.
Dude, I tried. So I bought Fallout 3 and those are not two games that you should buy at the same time.
Yeah.
I started playing Fallout 3 first, and then I was like, I don't really like this. Played BioShock. I was like, best games I've ever played in my entire life, and just completely abandoned Fallout.
Yeah.
And then maybe a year ago, I tried Fallout 4.
Yeah.
And it was the same thing, dude. Like, I think that's for me.
Yeah.
Vegas' best one. Dude, you and Russell Walker, like, Russell loves, like, Fallout games.
Yeah.
Skyrim. He likes to just wander and get lost.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, played those. I don't know. I like the grind. I think that's what it is. I think that's what with JRPGs or like Destiny or any kind of like looter shooter or whatever. I just like the like meaningless task over and over and over and getting really good at it and like having the sense of accomplishment like easily obtainable. You know.
That's understandable.
You know. Who knows?
Oh man, I need to play more video games.
Yeah, me too. After March, I'm gonna play something. We'll see. Harris has been like making fun of me and pissed off because I haven't been playing anything with him. So, hey, yo, Colby, let's go. Vault of Glass D2, bringing it back. I'm so excited. I don't know when I'll be able to play, but you know it'll be there. Sick, so good. Do you have school tomorrow?
Yes, it's a Wednesday.
Oh, dude, I don't know. I don't know how San Antonio works.
Yeah, I got to teach tomorrow.
Oh Lord. Are you still teaching 7th grade?
8th grade.
8th grade. Okay.
Yeah, same grade.
Yeah, I didn't know. I knew it was middle school. I just wasn't sure.
Yeah.
So. Well, I don't want to keep you. I know Kelly's probably waiting for you. We've been live for 4 hours. You've been here for 3.
She's watching 90 Day Fiance.
Ah, gross.
She said, "Don't judge me." It's fine, dude. I watch it too when I do.
Yeah, I've gotten to that too. Like whatever.
I go to bed. I go to bed and it's still on, and it's Lord. Like, dude, I could have missed like 3 episodes, but it doesn't matter.
It's the same thing.
Still the same shit is going on.
Yeah, exactly.
Tell her to come watch it with Emily. Yeah, man. Yeah, tomorrow's more history, but it's an easy.
Yeah.
Or coming in and talking about high school trace sheets.
Sick.
Oh, it's okay. She's at the part where they're starting to.
Ah, gotcha.
It's the real big twist.
Yeah. Riveting. Yeah, no one saw it coming. You know.
Yeah, no, it's an easy day for me tomorrow.
That's good. That makes it easy then. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes we stay up and do that. Like the one with Zach, it was probably this long.
Oh yeah, dude, I was on, and then I just like I had to dip.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. I do have to put them on Spotify. I just gotta like figure out a name. You know, I don't know.
Dude, I think
Ailey said he gave me a really good one. He said didn't want to put it in main chat, but he said I'm gonna say it because I think it's a cool name. He said Jimmy Speaks World as a play on Jimmy Eats World. Dude, I thought that's such a good one.
Still use the globe in the logo?
Yeah, exactly. It's
Why-
like Jimmy Speaks World because it's like
Why have
me
you not done
speaking.
that?
I don't know, but I really like that one. I might run with it, honestly. I
Yeah,
like that one
That's really good.
because it's like a podcast, right? Just like Jimmy Speaks
Yeah.
World. That's really good.
Great.
It's a great name.
Andrew, good job.
Yeah, dude.
That's fantastic.
You know, it's simple. Like, you know. Thank you.
That's it, dude.
Yeah, I think so.
Other than
I
that,
don't know. That's
Did
it.
Did we figure it out?
I
on
think we
this
figured it out. It
episode?
took us
I don't know if we
five
did or missed that.
episodes. It took us 5 episodes, but I think it's going to be Jimmy Speaks World.
I think that's really good, man.
I love it. That's sick.
And then,
That's like because that's one that like because there's been a lot of them where I just like, oh man, like I kind of like it, you know, whatever. But that one just like feels right.
yeah.
Now I get, well, hold on. Let's see if there's a podcast already for it. That's what we need to find out. Because that's what you always have to do.
Nissan Motor. Yeah, I did like. That was a good name.
Yep. Nope. Nope. It's not there. So that's mine.
Done, dude.
We'll run with it. Texas Tea is cool, but dude, like I said, like the Texas Tea. I mean, I knew T wasn't gonna be able to like go because everyone like that's like a term, whatever, and you know, I don't know. BRB going to register the domain.
T is drama. Like this.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want anything. So, yeah, dude, I don't know. I don't know. I like it. I don't know. We'll see.
I like it too.
I like it too. Maybe I'll have to go on Spotify and register it or something.
All right. Well, cool. Well, I'm glad we sorted that out.
Yeah, that's cool.
It gives
BRB
me
making
a sense of
social media.
accomplishment.
Yeah, no kidding.
I did nothing, but you know.
Hey, no, you did. You were here.
That's like my dude. That's my whole life. Like,
What's that?
do the littlest amount of sport, still have that sense of accomplishment. God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easy as that. Easy.
Oh, Jeremy, shut up.
What did Jeremy say?
We can chat.
Oh. No, it's okay. I mean, I would, but I just don't feel it would be beneficial for anybody.
He's just being a troll like he always is. This is why he's
Yeah.
the keyboard cowboy. All right, listen to this before
Yeah,
Jeremy.
yeah. Let's get out of here, man. I appreciate it
All right,
again.
Hey, Jimmy,
Hey,
I appreciate you
thanks,
having me
dude.
on. I had a lot of fun, dude.
dude, I'm good. We should do it again.
All right, bye, buddy.
All right. See ya. Bye, chat.